Yeah, I think so. I think we're making some good progress.
That is wonderful. Remember, though, that the road to inner peace is not a straight line.
True enough. I like to say I didn't make my path. Nature did.
Samuel, you have the makings of a poet.
Oh, I meant it more literally. When I was walking in the woods, I just walked where the land led me.
But you see, this is a wonderful metaphor. If there is a valley between two mountains, that is the path nature takes us on. We often choose to climb the mountain instead when the easier path is made for us. Your experience guides your intuition more than you might expect, my friend.
Guess it's that peasant wisdom the Signora mentions.
Be careful with the labeling, my friend.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I ain't ashamed of being a peasant. I'm just folks, as we like to say.
I can see why the Signora has become quite fond of you. Are you prepared for your session with her?
No, never.
Yeah, I think with our progress, there might be some other distortions to focus on. Let me think.
Hang on. Train Isabella. Okay. Got into her family issues today. There's lots of them. She's hopping mad they didn't meet her standards. Isabella died so she can control her family. It didn't work. Her husband and son were both major disappointments to her, especially her son. She really hates the Spanish. Might be a little obsessed with her late husband's failings as a man. Senora is still holding on to a lot of anger. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, though. Next time, I'll see if I can't push a little more. Yeah, control fallacy is like her biggest thing. She's huge on labeling. She is also huge on blaming people. Let's see. Should statements, I think. I'll definitely look into it, Jamie.
All right, locked and loaded.
The people of your country have so many colorful phrases having to do with firearms. I do not understand the obsession.
I can't explain it neither.
I shall leave you alone with the Signora, Samuel.
Howdy, Signora. Good to see you tonight.
You are looking forward to seeing me?
Well, sure I was. You're an interesting person, Signora. It's a privilege to get to know you.
I suppose you have learned something of manners yourself. I thought a lot about the things we talked about last time, you know.
Oh, yeah? What about exactly?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality.
Now, hold on, Signora. Maybe you were fighting reality some, but that doesn't mean you were wasting your time. That fighting with reality is just part of what makes you human. It's your experience, your journey that you're learning from.
But if the aim was to control my family, I failed to achieve that aim.
Yeah, but that's real all-or-nothing aim, Signora. It's easy to fail when the conditions for winning are so narrow, right?
Yes. You are, of course, correct. Would that I had listened to the simpletons in my life earlier.
Maybe you can start by not calling them simpletons.
She just, like, really went immediately into the control and labeling distortions. Just did not even hesitate. Oh, I should turn the audio up for you all a little more.
I meant it as a compliment. I wish I could be a simpleton.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that.
I mean what I say. Look at me, with my grand plans, my status, my dynasty, and all the pain that they have brought me. Who is the true fool, me or the simpleton?
Well, what if we're not fools or simpletons? What if we're just people being people? There's a lot of room between worms and gods, Signora.
Again, you prove your pastoral wisdom.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing some thinking. You were putting so much pressure on yourself to be the one keeping your family going. I can tell how much it was weighing on you.
I spent so long trying to fix them, trying to transform them into something that they were not. May I talk to you about my ex-husband, Sam?
Of course you can. I know he gave you a lot of grief.
He hurt me deeply, in so very many ways. He was the start of all my delusions because I thought I could fix him. I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. That perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici.
Okay, so that's personalization right there, is what's going on there. But we don't have that one, so...
I know I have been arguing with reality, as you have said, but the idea of a fruitful marriage, sanctified by God, this was the only reality I had. But that reality did not match with mine. God could not have blessed both our marriage and riddled Frankie's penis with French diseases.
French diseases?
We used to call syphilis the malfrance.
Diseases don't belong to any nationality. You sound like a certain politician from back home.
Oh, Sam.
Do not insult me. Have I not suffered enough with my husband's disgusting malady? It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
Are you blaming God? No, okay.
The Signora was seeking a justification for her feelings, and I believe she found one.
It was a pain.
I want to challenge you on something there. That sounds like a kind of hopeless statement. Like you're doomed to keep being tested on God's terms.
Hello, J-Will.
Perhaps it was hopeless. As you said, Isabella d'Este and Francesco Gonzaga could not change their natures.
That's true, but here's the thing. Does that mean you were doomed, or were you just doomed on God's terms? I think this just needs a little reframing. I know you were dealt a rough hand, but doesn't necessarily mean you were being tested. Sometimes we just gotta make do with the hand we got. What I'm suggesting is that then and now, a radical acceptance approach could have helped you.
What do you mean?
I mean, you could have had a secret arrangement. You could have become a nun. We're gonna say you could have become a nun because I feel like she might have lost her goddamn... She might lose her goddamn mind if we mention her having a secret arrangement.
You could have become a nun, right? That would have been a way out of your situation.
Sam, you know me better than most at this point. Could I have been a nun?
Well, I guess you could have been the queen of the nuns.
That was not an available position.
Maybe it wouldn't have worked out then.
Could have had a secret arrangement.
You could have had some sort of secret arrangement. That was pretty common back then, right?
Oh, we did have a secret arrangement. The arrangement was that he kept secrets from me and I pretended not to know about them.
Had you ever considered talking about it?
I could not. You do not know what it was like back then. A woman, even one such as I, was always subject to her husband. I did not have a say in his affairs. I had to play the part of the good wife and mother. You must understand, I only earned my significant power by playing the societal game.
But he knew you were aware of his indiscretions, didn't he?
It was hard to deny when he approached me with that rotten thing between his legs.
So why not bring the issue out in the open?
He would have become angry, I am sure. Perhaps he would have beaten me and taken away the privileges I had worked so hard to earn.
Every time we talk about your husband, Isabella, I am filled with rage for you.
Perhaps it is pointless to tread over the past again and again. What has happened has happened. It has been nearly 5 centuries. I should not let the past haunt me so.
It's a hard thing, Signora. But no matter how old we get, the stuff that happened to us when we were alive is the stuff that makes us who we are. To think you should get over it ain't being fair to yourself, and it's a challenge you created. Nobody expects you to get over your past. Heck, anyone who would have thought that's long dead now.
There is truth in what you speak. My father and mother, my husband, the Pope, even the Holy Roman Emperor, they are all very long gone. If I am true, Sam, I am still very angry about all the lies I was told. I may be harboring some resentment.
You may be harboring some resentment?
You don't say.
You will understand when I tell you of Frankie's greatest cruelty. I will tell you that the man, for all his fighting spirit, had very weak sperm, for he could not sprout a male seed in my womb.
Hold on, are you really blaming your husband's sperm for your having girls?
It could not have been my fault.
Admittedly, she is actually right. Like, she is... Federico was her husband. Oh, right. Federico's their son. Wait a minute. Where did she get the boy from?
Senora, even I know it's just luck of the draw. I think you know that too.
Yeah, Frankie was her husband, you're right. Also, no, Sam, it's not just the luck of the draw. The sperm does, in fact, have a lot to do with it.
Fine. Perhaps I just wanted to insult Frankie. But I will continue. My first child was a girl. I could not have been more embarrassed. Or so I thought, until I had my second child, who was also a girl. I will tell you, Sam, I was a young woman in mourning. I did not emerge from my chambers for weeks. The next time, finally, I had a boy, my beautiful Federico. He was such a charming child. He would entertain me so with his clownish behavior. May I show you a picture, Sam?
Well, sure, let's take a look.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? He could have been a movie star or a model today, don't you think?
Oh yeah, genetically speaking, X's have more than double the genetic information than Y's do. The X carries most of the genetic information. It's why men have to have at least one X.
Admit it, he is the most handsome boy who ever walked this cursed earth.
Well,
Why am I asking you? What do you know of beauty? Anyway, I gave all of myself to him. All my guidance, all my wisdom, and all of my love. Everyone said, you are doting on him. Give him some air. How dare they tell me my business? I am Isabella d'Este. I know what is right.
Senora, I'm sure you knew what was best for your son, but ain't it possible that those people might have been able to help you? It's lonely work when you feel like you can't listen to anyone else.
Are you telling me how I should have raised my son?
I got a better sense of self-preservation than that, Senora. But you gotta admit, this Nosferatu thinking of being always right is pretty exhausting, ain't it?
Oh, that is true. And as it turned out, pointless.
I do feel really bad for the girls. This is actually the first time she's even mentioned having daughters.
It did not matter in the end. Frankie, in his supreme foolishness, managed to get himself captured by the French. He ransomed himself out of prison with something more precious than all the gold in Venezia, more valuable than the Pope's seat. He sold my son, my beautiful Federico.
Dang, that must have been devastating, Senora. I can't imagine how painful that must have been.
No, you cannot. For you will never be a mother to a son so beautiful, so intelligent, and so pure. But that was not the end of my pain. It was not enough to take my son away. Not content to merely break me, the French, as always, needed to corrupt. They sent my sweet Federico to a den of filth, a place where chastity went to die, straight to the crossroads of Sodom and Gomorrah. They sent him to the Vatican.
Can I have somebody clip that, please? Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Vatican? Seems like that'd be a pretty boring place for a boy to spend time.
This was Rodrigo Borgia's Vatican. It was a city of prostitutes and perverts, and he was their mayor. My poor Federico. He was a boy of a certain age. I could not have prepared him for the temptations he encountered. When he finally returned to me, he was no longer Isabella d'Este's child. He was the child of Francesco Gonzaga, an experienced whoremonger in his own right.
Hold on a sec. No longer your child? You can't think that's true. You raised that boy, and there's no way he could forget you. Maybe he got up to shenanigans out there in the Vatican, but you're only hurting yourself by erasing your influence on him. Now be honest. Did he lose everything you taught him?
No. He still had an appreciation of art, for which he had some taste. And he had some political acumen, I suppose.
I'm not saying you should forget what happened to your son. That would be pretty unrealistic. But give yourself some credit for the influence you had, huh?
You are kind, Sam. Thank you. But it is hard to forget the child who returned to me. I am a man now, mother, he would say. I do not have to listen to you. And indeed, he did not. Which is why he died of syphilis, just like his depraved father. He did not even have the courtesy to wait until I was dead. Now do you understand why I prefer the illusion of truth and beauty I try to bring to art? My mother told me when my marriage was young, Isabella, you must pretend that all is as it should be. The truth is dark, but you must maintain your own.
Well, that's what she just said, though, Velasco, is he didn't even have the courtesy to wait until she was dead, which means she wasn't turned by the time he died of syphilis.
I hate to say it, Senora, but I think your mama was spouting a few should statements of her own. Keeping up that illusion must have been draining.
That is why I tried to create my own illusions. If I depicted love and chastity in their ideal form, I could make that illusion come true.
Well, Senora, if anyone were strong enough to change the world's morality, it might be you. But I think you know the truth is that you don't have that kind of control. No one does.
Then why am I here, Sam? Why are any of us here? Are we here to eat, sleep, fornicate, and die?
I know a few folk who might say that's why we're here. It's one of them existential questions, ain't it? Here's my take, Senora. I think you're here to be you.
I certainly hope you have something more intelligent to contribute than that.
I don't really. Here's the thing, Senora. None of us is going to change the world overnight, or even in a millennium of nights. But our being here, being ourselves, swings the pendulum in a whole bunch of unknowable ways.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
What I'm saying, Senora, is not that we're powerless. I'm just saying we ain't gonna change the world on our own. Not everyone's gonna buy what we're selling, but some people are gonna get it. People are still out there talking about the art you brought to the world. Maybe fellas like me don't know who you are. I bet that nasty Pope from your time wasn't your biggest fan. But you can't help but be an influence on people. Just not all people. Ain't that so?
I do not know if that is enough for me, Sam.
Well, here's what I think we should do, Senora. All them efforts of yours are always facing outward. How about we spend some time on you?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's work on the things Isabella d'Este likes. Forget about the rest of the world. What are you putting in your art that's for you and not for anyone else? Is it a little embarrassing?
Hush. If you must know, it is centaurs. I like centaurs.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that. I love that so much.
Hey, I ain't gonna judge. Sometimes I like horses better than people too.
Yes, well, they are pleasing to look at.
Hello, Nocturnum.
Now, how about this then? Why don't you pick up a brush and paint yourself up a centaur?
I have not attempted to paint for centuries.
This is just for you, Senora. No expectations. How's that sound?
I cannot believe I revealed this thing to you.
Hello, HPG.
I'm glad you did. I'm a lucky fella. I get to know an Isabella d'Este no one else knows.
And no one else will know, or I will make you suffer. Capiche?
You got a deal, Senora. I'm here to be supportive, that's all. I hope that when you come back next month, we'll be having a nice conversation about you finding your muse.
Yes, perhaps. Very well, Sam. I do not understand your ways, but I cannot deny you have a certain untamed wisdom. I shall attempt to paint a centaur. This is not what I expected from therapy, but I shall do as you suggest.
Oh, Valesco, have you been playing Vampire Therapist yet? Or did you watch the last VOD? Okay. Then you probably already are aware that there's eye violence in Medis.
I shall see you in 4 weeks then. Arrivederci, Sam.
Ah, well, be aware there is eye violence in Medis lines. So, I just want you to be aware so you can prepare for that however you prepare for that. Okay, look, she plucks her eyeball out. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense when, like, you've got the context around it, like what she's talking about and stuff. But I felt that you should be aware of that so you can... so you're not surprised by it. Yeah, there's no blood or gore involved. But it was quite jarring, even for me, and I don't really have that squick, so...
Oh yeah, see you soon, Senora. Arrivederci.
Goodbye.
Well, well, Samuel, you never cease to impress. Centaurs.
I don't think you're supposed to know about that, boss.
I am 3,000 years old, my friend. Horse people are somewhere at the very tip of my kinky iceberg. It is already forgotten.
Well, the Senora's pretty embarrassed about it, so I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself.
Senora d'Este is wise to put her faith in you, Samuel. I will gently remind you that relationships between therapists and clients are highly discouraged.
I don't think Sam has any intention of sleeping with Isabella.
Oh, come on, Andy. It ain't like that. Senora d'Este is just... You're messing with me.
Of course I am. Unless...
All right, you know what? I'm going downstairs. I could use a drink.
Well earned, Samuel. Please, rest in peace.
Poor Senora. That lady's holding on to a lot of anger. Reminds me of myself as a young vampire.
Session 3. The deeper I dig, the angrier Isabella gets. I don't think we're even at the core of it yet, but she is furious as hell with her husband and son. Adored her son more than anything, a little too much maybe. Feels betrayed by both her husband and her son. Seems angry with herself that she wasn't able to control either of them. Maybe madder at herself than her boys. I tried to push Isabella to be a little more selfish. She can't control another human being, so maybe she can worry about herself first. He might be? No, his name is Sam Walls. Samuel Walls.
Pretty hot in here tonight. I think I'll get some air. Maybe I can get to know Bert a little better. Hey, Bert. How's the crowd tonight? Same old, huh? So, what do you think of Leipzig, Bert? Real fascinating architecture here. Hey, not everyone's into architecture, I get it. So what do you do for fun here? More of a homebody, I guess. Yeah, I'm a little introverted too. Spent 90 years walking in the woods, you know. Yeah, there's nothing I like better in nature. The trees, the plants, the animals. The cities just seem so dead at night. I can tell I'm interrupting. Well, nice talking to you anyway, Bert. I'm gonna head inside.
Have fun, mate.
Hey, Crimson, how's the crowd?
Hey, cowboy. Bit busy tonight, but how'd your session go?
No, I think this lady's starting to realize what she can't control, which is a lot. She's still mad as hell about it, but I think we're getting closer to acceptance.
I know how she feels, cowboy. I feel like I wasted years of my life in D.C. trying to make the world a better place. But it sounds like you are making progress to me. She's got time to make her peace. That's what Andy says about you vampires.
Yeah, that's true. We can take 40 years or 400, but that's up to us.
In the meantime, I'll whip something up for a hot summer night.
What's this now?
Blood margarita. Figured a hot-blooded desperado like you could use something cold.
Oh, mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'll let you get back to work and take this up to my coffin for a quiet night.
Night, Sam.
Now let's see, what'll help me reflect on the night? I think there's something Omar Khayyam once wrote that I can look up. Or I could watch Buster Keaton almost get himself killed a bunch.
So, turns out these were put in because they're not copyrighted anymore, they're public domain. And so streamers could leave you with something to watch while we take breaks. That is what the cartoons and everything were added for.
Well, one of my transcendentalist friends told me about this one. I ain't too good with poetry, but this piece always stuck with me.
Oh yeah, also Cyrus and I have been discussing the issue with my journal, and he can't recreate it. He's been trying to recreate it since our first stream, and he can't. So it seems to be an issue tied with my save at this point.
The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash a word out of it. Funny how people in far-off places and times always had some similar perspectives. Omar's right. You can't change the past. Life moves forward. I think that's enough for one night. Better get me some shut-eye. Got the feeling my work's gonna get harder before it gets easier.
Perhaps, CT, but I'm not... So, I told this to Cyrus, too, is I'm not really fussed about it because it's not preventing me from seeing other journal entries, and they are moved to the back of the journal as new entries come in. So the duplicated ones aren't really bothering me. And he's a singleton dev. Yeah, like, he's a single dev. And he has a lot of fixes he's trying to manage. And the last couple times that he's tried to put in new patches, he's had to roll them back. Yeah, see, they just moved to the back, the two duplicated ones, so it's all good. Yeah, it's not even game breaking. Like the Luridus issue. The Luridus issue was more of a game breaking thing, and that, you know, that he's fixed up and all that stuff, so... He knows what the issue is with the curtains, and it's to do with frame rate refreshes.
My dear Samuel, greetings. How are you feeling tonight?
Honestly, I'm feeling a little like a horse who's about to be ridden by a big old fella.
I am not certain I comprehend your meaning. Have you met a special someone, my friend?
What? No, it ain't that. I mean, I'm feeling a little on edge. Edmund's coming in.
Aha, our actor friend. What about him has you nervous, Sam?
He's just a lot to deal with. I find myself a little drained after our sessions.
Ah, yes. Challenging the reality distortion fields of those with narcissistic tendencies is taxing.
I know, but if I'm here doing this therapist thing, I should help him one way or another.
Ah, remember your own distortions. You are under no obligation to help Edmund. If helping him drains you, remember that you do not have to aid him.
Yeah, you're right. I still want to try, though. I want to see if I can help him.
I shall not stand in your way, then. Have you an idea of what distortions he might be exhibiting tonight?
I did see that update announcement, Velasco, and I'm curious to see how it's gonna work.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
What is Edmund going to do to us? Okay. Yeah, personalization is his thing. He disqualifies the positive. He has serious emotional reasoning, serious blaming issues, and also he believes he's a mind reader. Oh, good luck with that, Velasco.
I think that should cover it.
I wish you peace and patience, Samuel. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Andy. Edmund, amigo, how's it hanging?
To the left and most proudly, my dear boy. Indeed, tonight I sit before you victorious. Thy gentle prodding hath guided me back to the womb of creation.
Do I want you to spell that out for me?
The stage, good sir, the stage. For if all the world's a stage, then the stage is where humanity is born.
Oh, yeah, I guess that must be true. So what are you saying? You nabbed some kind of juicy role?
Not just any role. Nay, I have been given the opportunity to once again subvert the audience's expectations. Though it was thy tender words that cleared the mists of doubt from my mind and reminded me that I belong to the stage, not to the audience.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Eddie. Tell me all about it. What's been going on?
Do you remember the advice you gave me when last we met?
I told you to film yourself doing some acting, right? How'd that go?
I did as you suggested. I set up a camera, and for no one but myself, I became the Dane.
That's Hamlet, right?
Marmaduke?
Hamlet, my dear boy, Hamlet. I watched the great Edmund Kean inhabit the bard's greatest role once again, and in him I saw humanity pure, naked, and true. It was akin to pornography, albeit far more revealing. That Edmund Kean, I told myself, he and only he could produce something so beautiful.
Wait just a minute there, Eddie. You're an incredible actor. Everyone agrees on that. But it's a big world out there, and everyone's got their own experiences. We all got capacity to do incredible things. It's a combination of luck, perseverance, and being in the right place at the right time. You ain't a great actor because you're Edmund Kean. You're a great actor because of the things that made you Edmund Kean.
You toy with the fates and flirt with pedantry, my dear boy. Oh, it is oft said that an infinite number of monkeys with an infinite number of typewriters at infinite time could produce all the works of Shakespeare, but such a thing is infinitely unlikely. If you will permit me to continue, to watch myself act without an audience was simply rapturous. I am not ashamed to admit that I did weep. I wept for the stage, that I deprived it of my greatness on account of my own misplaced dread. I have been a cream-faced loon, a devout coward, and most religious in it. Why should Edmund Kean fear any audience? You spoke truly. Edmund Kean bared his chest to all the slings and arrows of an unappreciative audience, and was somehow surprised when they hit their mark. The Edmund Kean that you see before you is armored in love of the craft, that no arrow may penetrate, and so casts aside the cloak of cowardice. To think, I feared mortal directors. I feared the audition, and the criticism that would come afterward. I feared the cast list, bereft of Edmund Kean. But to you I give thanks, for can a mortal director know my brilliance? Nay, they're all clay-brained guts and mouldy rogues. Their disrespect for the craft makes fools of them.
I think you're painting them directors with a broad brush, Eddie. I get that you've got more experience with acting than mortals, but all directors ain't the same.
Yeah. This is why I knew disqualifying the positive needed to go right on there.
Hell, I'd even go so far as to say you could learn from some of them. They know they're gonna die, and that's perspective we vampires need sometimes.
Thou hast cut me to the quick, my friend. Perhaps some of what you say is true. However, I know in my damned soul that the stage is worse off without Edmund Kean, and nothing any mortal director can say will disabuse me of this. Ergo, I did ask myself, Edmund, what is an audition? Is it a trial to overcome? Is a director a god dispensing holy judgment? And I replied, Edmund, do not ask such foolish questions, the answers to which thou knowest well. An audition, my dear boy, is not an opportunity, but an invitation to display the craft before another. So I told myself, why not act, dear boy? And so I did.
So you did an audition, all right, that's great. Did you have fun with it?
You speak so simply, my friend. Fun does not adequately describe the feeling one has when the muse takes over. It is transcendence, an affirmation of purpose, to condense humanity within oneself, if only for a moment. It is an orgasmic experience.
Alrighty then.
That sounds intense, Eddie. Having an orgasm in front of someone else is pretty brave.
Oh, but it is freeing. A true actor hides nothing.
Eddie, are you performing in porn movies?
The director, she told me she had never witnessed such a thing in all her years, few as they were. I am certain that she thought to herself, is this Dionysus reborn? Why have the fates graced mine eyes with such depth of the human spirit?
So, how do you know she was thinking that, Eddie? Director's usually just thinking about how they can put on a good show, right?
Oh, thou sweet babe, how little thou knowest. The poor lady has only seen a parade of mortals cross her door. How could she be prepared for Edmund Kean?
Well, maybe she couldn't be. I'm just saying you're gonna be a lot more content if you're dealing with truths. If you go into this assuming she thinks you're a god reborn, how are you gonna work together? You both got your jobs. Hers is putting on the show, and yours is lighting up the stage. Reading her mind ain't letting her speak it.
You must ever play the mirth-destroying ninny, mustn't you? Yes, I could not read her mind, I admit it. Art thou satisfied?
It ain't about my satisfaction, Eddie. I'm just making sure you're going into this thing with a clear head.
If you must, but allow me to continue. This time, my friend, I did not have to wait for a cast list at all. You are looking at a leading man once more.
Hey, congratulations, Eddie. That's great. See, I knew you'd get your mojo back if you remembered what made you love the stage in the first place.
For this, I am eternally grateful, and indeed, I do have an eternity to be grateful. Now I can already hear the calls resounding through the theater. Kean! 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 Give us Kean!
You may want to pick a different name.
Nonsense! They will say Edmund Keane has returned and be none the wiser as to the accuracy of their statement.
So what's the big role, Eddie?
We get to the meat of it, onto the very sinew at last. They say that every story is a circle, that we return whence we came. So it is with me. 'Twas tragedy that made me, tragedy that formed me, tragedy that raised me to glory, and tragedy that shall do so once more. I shall play the part of Pierrot. Pierrot, the clown who cried. Pierrot, the mask of the tragedy that is life.
I ain't familiar.
I believe you are, though you know a far inferior version, the one made famous by that ludicrous creature, Grimaldi.
Grimaldi who?
Splud, my dear boy. Do you know nothing of late 18th century English theatre?
Not really.
They must have skipped that subject in frontier school.
Grimaldi was the other influential actor in London. But whereas I drew out the soul and laid it bare on stage, Grimaldi, in comparison, was a clown, a jester, a funny man. Grimaldi was an artist, like myself. But where my canvas was the soul, his was the latrine. When I strode upon the stage, my audience saw all the acts of life play out, in all their woe and joy. Oh, but Joey Grimaldi, the great clown himself, could create bottom noises with his armpit. Yet whose name was on the lips of the adoring public? Not Keane's, no. Not the bard's emissary. Give us the farting clown, they cried. Give us Grimaldi. So you see, my dear boy, for me to play the tragic clown Pierrot, this is my opportunity to take what Grimaldi stole from me.
What did he steal?
He stole my audience.
Eddie, from what you've told me, I don't think you and this Grimaldi fella had the same audience. I don't think anyone showing up for a farting clown show and getting Edmund Keane is going to be too happy, and it'd have nothing to do with you.
But if Grimaldi had not peddled his base filth, my audience would not have waned when it did. They would have been mine.
Eddie, I think you're blaming Grimaldi for something that wasn't in his control.
We're just gonna keep hitting the blame game, apparently.
Was Grimaldi really trying to steal your audience, or was he just selling something they were buying?
My hair is being really annoying with my headset today. I'm sorry.
Of course he was jealous. Why would he not be? If I were a middling actor and saw a young genius rising in the ranks of the Thespian Order, I would be much afeard of him.
Yeah, that's your thinking, Eddie, not Grimaldi's. You can't know what he was thinking.
Then you are a fool indeed, dear boy. For Grimaldi was the middling actor and I the young genius. It is my insight into character that allows me to see his mind.
Grimaldi wasn't a character, though, Eddie. He was a person. People are real complicated.
He was a thief and a fool. If not for his cheap entertainment, I would have had the whole of London hanging on my every word.
And if the sun didn't shine, we could go out during the day. Come on, Eddie, the world ain't waiting on you. Grimaldi had his audience and you had yours. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Perhaps, though I weep bitter tears to think the people so base. And I weep for myself, my dear boy. The riches and fame he received should have been mine, and would have been, had the fates not cursed me with his birth.
Watch out, Samuel. I think you're losing him. Edmund truly cannot see a universe without him at its center.
The riches and fame.
The fates cursed you with Grimaldi's birth? I don't think baby Grimaldi was thinking too much about you, my friend.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was 11 years my senior.
So maybe he was cursed with your birth then.
You delight in making me play the part of the fool, don't you?
The point I'm trying to make is that making things about Grimaldi versus Keane ain't doing you any favors.
There is some truth in your words. Why should I lower myself to his level? I am no flatulent jester. I am Edmund Keane. And mark my words, my boy. I shall cast Joseph Grimaldi from the Thespian Order. When I play Pierrot the Clown, Wikipedia shall forget all about that fool.
I don't think so.
You see, my dear boy, I have already calculated my triumphant return to the stage. Every move, every word, every expression shall be unassailable. You see, Edmund Keene is never wrong about matters of character. Indeed, I doubt our meetings will be necessary any longer. I must confess to some strong misgivings about you, therapist. There are times when we speak that I feel exposed, diminutive, and weak, and I can only conclude from those feelings that you are trying to hurt me.
I gotta push you on that, Eddie. You said it yourself. You're jumping from a feeling to reality. I am here to challenge you, yeah. But you're feeling exposed as part of the process. Doesn't mean I'm trying to hurt you.
But there is truth in emotion, my dear boy. Perhaps not the whole truth, but emotions are the seeds from which truth doth grow.
And let me be straight with you. I ain't trying to hurt you, Eddie. I'm just trying to make sure you're moving forward with a clear head.
Yeah, I don't know, Velasco. That would be...
Then perhaps that is where we speak alien languages. As an actor, I must be led by feeling and intuition. I pity you, my dear boy, that such is beyond your grasp.
I got a heart, Eddie. I just try to know when it's lying to me.
Regardless, opening night is a month from now. I doubt you shall see me again, for I shall not need your services. The public thought they knew what a clown was. In a month's time, they will forget Grimaldi and Bozo, and only Keene's clown will remain. Therefore, why shall I need you? When I have the public's love that I am due, what need will I have for a therapist?
If you don't need me, you don't need me.
Hey, if you don't need me, I'm happy. There's lots of folks who can use my help.
I was hoping you would lament my loss more than that.
Of course I'd miss you, Eddie. You're as interesting a fella as they come. But if you don't need me, I've done my job pretty well.
Yes, well, I must admit, your suggestion of filming myself was rather brilliant, and I do owe you my thanks. Do you have any final words of wisdom for me then, dear boy? Theatre has lost its popularity because of my absence. When the public takes notice of Edmund Keene once again, how might I prepare myself?
I just want to remind you, Eddie, that even if you give the greatest performance of all time, people ain't waiting for you. Think about how you felt when you were acting for yourself and not for the audience. Your most important audience member is you, compadre.
Ever the nemesis of mirth art thou, Sam Walls. But there is a little wisdom in what you speak. I shall remember Edmund Keene. I suppose, then, that this is goodbye, dear boy.
You sure you don't want me to keep your session slot open for next month?
There is no need. As you are so eager to help others, please do so, and worry not for Edmund Keene.
Tell you what, I'll keep it open just this once. I'll take the night off if you don't show up. Sound good?
Then I beg you enjoy a night of simple peace. You shall not see me. I give you thanks, and please, send me a V-mail. I shall arrange theatre tickets for you if you are ever in London.
I'll do that, Eddie. You take care of yourself, you hear?
I shall be Edmund Keene's greatest advocate. Farewell, therapist. May fortune favor you as it has me.
Adios, Eddie.
Well, Samuel, it seems you are down one client.
Yeah, I guess so. If he thinks he doesn't need me, I guess I'm doing something right.
You are unsure.
I don't know, Andy. I think that fella's got some more work to do, but he ain't ready to do it yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Nocturnum.
I believe you are correct, Samuel. I did warn you that this was likely to happen with our dear Edmund Keene. Do not consider it a failure of yours. Remember that we are all on our own journeys, and some of us need a little extra time to reach the next stage of that journey. Or in my case, a few thousand years. We cannot control the mind of any other.
Yeah, I suppose that's the way it's gotta be.
Go downstairs and have a drink to fate's whimsical turns. It is that which we cannot control that makes the world so rich and interesting.
All right, Andy, that sounds good right about now.
Go then, my friend. The night awaits. Rest in peace.
Well, that was a weird one. I guess it always is with Edmund. Half the time I can't make heads or tails of what that feller's saying.
Yeah, that's a valid concern, Velasco. He's very old. He could very well have that power. I guess that's it for Eddie. He quit therapy today. I guess I'll close out my notes. Eddie got cast in a play as some famous clown he had a rivalry with back in the day. He's rekindled his love for acting, not just the audience. Still thinks everyone is waiting for him to light up the stage, obsessed with his own Wikipedia. I don't know how I feel about this one. I hope I'm wrong and that Eddie is gonna be fine though. Actors are strange.
I'll go check in with Crimson and see if she's got any of her wisdom to share. How we doing tonight, Crimson?
The drinks are flowing and the blood's pumping. Can't ask for more than that. How are you, Sam?
Well, I had my first client graduate. They quit therapy today.
Congratulations, cowboy. Helped a vampire see the light, huh? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, Sam feels pretty poorly about it, actually.
I swear this fella's just doubling down on the stuff that's making him unbalanced. He thinks he's gonna make the whole world admire him. I'm afraid he ain't nearly born enough for mass appeal.
Sorry to hear it, Sam. I'm sure he must have gotten something out of talking to you, though.
Well, even if not everyone loves what he's doing, at least he's doing what he loves.
Hey, I'd call that a win, cowboy. Not everyone gets to do what they love.
Sounds like you got some feelings about that.
All right, I'm gonna let you in on a big, dark secret. Maybe even darker than the fact that I drink blood.
I'll hold it with high honor, Crimson.
I liked being alone.
That's okay. Yeah, it's like most of the time I do feel pretty good about him, but that one I don't feel good about how that one ended.
Oh, you're right. That is dark.
Oh, shut up. I was good, Sam. I fought the good fight, and I knew case law like the back of my hand. The law just moved too slowly for me in the end, and getting cancer made it seem meaningless. Now, I love this place, and I love Andy, but I know I wasn't born to bartend.
Couldn't you practice law in Germany?
You try learning German and tell me how it goes, Desperado.
Oh, come on, it ain't that hard. I've picked up some German already. Ich spreche Deutsch good.
Hold me, Maxie. The cowboy is being once again too cute. I believe I shall burst.
Cowboy, kom with us and we will teach you how to speak sehr good Deutsch.
I think I hear my dinner calling. I'll talk to you later, Crimson.
Be gentle with him, you two.
Now we will teach you the German that is most important for you to know.
It is important to ask politely when you wish to drink from someone's neck. Tell them, your neck is beautiful. May I drink from it?
Ihr Hals ist wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Now ask Reinhard if he will let you drink from his neck.
It is very important to get the declensions correct in German.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Ihr Hals is wunderschön. Darf ich von Ihnen trinken?
Oh, meine Ohren.
You have made my boyfriend sad, cowboy. Now you must drink from his neck to make him feel better.
Oh, Maxie. Now I'm feeling very disoriented and euphoric. Oh, so I've done many club drugs.
I will take you home, Knutkugel. Now what do you say, cowboy?
Oh, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön, sexy. We must practice together, so. I must take this hot little man home now. Tschüss, tschüss.
Oh, yeah, see you later, you two. Well, it's about time for some shut-eye anyway.
I think Maxie's gonna take care of the non-neck parts, Velasco.
Good evening, Samuel. I believe you are seeing your elder vampire tonight.
That's right. I hope she's making some progress. Well, the world sure did a number on that lady.
I am hopeful. One does not live so long without being very resilient. I have had a number of near-final death incidents myself, and I had been trained to fight since childhood.
That's true. She's clearly got a few tricks up her sleeve. I don't even know how she plays them 3D video games.
I really hope that it's not Maxie. I really hope Maxie is not his great granddaughter. I almost wonder if it's Crimson.
Based on her last session, you probably have some idea of her current concerns. Would you like to prepare your distortions?
Bad history, was sold to a rival warlord, killed by a wizard. Guess wizards are real now, been in her clan. Pilloried as a witch. Disgusted by her followers.
Yeah, I guess I'd better do that. Now let's see.
Yeah, overgeneralization is absolutely her core. She does a lot of labeling. She does a lot of always right. She does disqualify the positive a lot. And I'm leaning towards should statements for the fourth. I also like her little head knobbies. I'm gonna put on should statements. I feel like I should be taking notes myself and not just relying off of Sam's notes.
Alright, I think I've got what I need.
Very good, Samuel. I shall leave you. I believe I hear the flapping of ancient wings.
Greetings, my most favorite mouse.
Good to see you, matey. How's this month been for you?
Oh, it's been ever so tiring. My Glitch channel hit 100 million followers, and they are all very hungry for content.
What do you mean by content? Is it like making a TV show?
Oh, no, silly mouse. Do you know how we're hungry for blood all the time? Mortals are like that too, but for content. It means constantly putting up new things on the internet. If they don't get content, they get frightfully bored.
I can see why that'd be exhausting.
It's alright, silly cowboy. It can be very nice. They're always very excited to see me. And they give me ever so much money. I don't know what to do with it all.
I'll take some, Mitty.
Well, sounds to me like you can afford to take a break, huh? Did you take that day off like you promised?
I did. I didn't like it very much.
I'm sorry to hear that, matey. What was bad about it?
It was very quiet. It was just me, alone, with no one to talk to but the voices in my head. Those voices are very unkind.
Thank you very much for the bits, Velasco. Content.
What do they say?
They say, Medi, you're being a very naughty vampire. You should respond to your zealots. You should be planning your content.
Well, heck, matey. Who the hell do them voices in your head think they are? Telling you what you should and shouldn't do.
I'm glad I put the should statements on.
Them shoulds don't mean anything at all. It ain't nice of them at all to be pressuring you.
It could certainly be a lot kinder. I already know that I should be preparing my content and answering my zealots. They don't need to be rude about it.
Well, maybe they were being rude because they know they're full of horseshit, huh? Ain't no shoulds but the ones we make up.
Silly cowboy. You don't know anything at all about the internet, do you?
Yeah, I gotta confess, I got almost no idea what you're talking about. I didn't get much past female.
I don't know what I'd do without the internet. I'd probably be a pile of ashes. Or maybe a desiccated, bloodless corpse.
I gotta ask, how'd you get so good at all this internet stuff anyway? I can't keep up with all this modern technology.
Well, back in the before times, I didn't need the internet very much. I used to live in the wilds where no one knew to look for me. If any silly mortals came to visit me, I would eat them. And if no one came to visit, I could go hunting for them on my own. But now there aren't any wilds. Now there are motorways and nasty machines. Now there are suburbs and shopping centers.
So what did you do when the wilds went away?
I moved into the city, but I never liked it very much. People were very upset at me for being able to come out only at night. They started to whisper that I was a witch. I know what mortals like to do to witches. Pop goes the eyeball. Okay.
Oh, right, yeah. Funny. So, how'd you manage?
Well, I found out I could get mortals to do things for me. In exchange for a peek at my naughty bits, and for their miserable little insect lives, they would clean up after all my messes. Realized that mortals only ever wanted one of two things from me: to kill me, or to do sexual things with me. As long as they think they can have a chance of sexual things, I can control them.
I think you're shooting fish in a real small barrel there, miss. You're judging mortals based on your experience, but there are about 8 billion of them out there. There are mortals who hate killing and hate sex, or don't even care about either of those things. Some of them just want to watch TV and they're happy with that.
Those are even more disgusting, because they are cowards and liars.
And how exactly do you know that?
Most of my best friends over the last millennia have been insects. Do you know why, little mouse?
Oh, why don't you tell me?
Insects never lie. They kill, they eat, and they make babies. Sometimes they eat their babies. They don't pretend to be intelligent and chivalrous. They just are. They never surprise me. That's why I don't let mortals surprise me either. If they were honest, they would eat their babies too.
I don't know about that one, Medi.
Well, that conversation took a kind of dark turn, but I think I get what you mean about not letting mortals surprise you. You're protecting yourself, and that's a sensible thing to do. That being said, you seem pretty convinced that danger is a sure thing.
That's right. If I let myself feel safe, that's when they'll come for me.
Medic, you've lived in the woods like I have. I get fear is important. It protects us. But you know as well as I do, that feeling's been wrong sometimes. I'm not saying not to be afraid, just to accept your fear might not always be right. Heck, I think one of my best friends in the last 50 years was a grizzly bear.
Oh, I suppose that's true. I used to have a wolf. Fionnuala the Fair, I called her. She could catch human treats right out of the air.
Human treats?
Oh, you know, a finger, a nose, an ear. She was so cute.
Oh, well, I'm glad you made a friend. But again, you weren't afraid of her, which is how you were able to make friends at all. But don't let me interrupt you. You figured out how to get mortals to help you. Then what?
Well, my devoted little perverts were very helpful, but they had a very nasty habit of getting caught disposing of bodies. Policemen would shoot them into little bloody giblets. I don't like policemen very much.
Feelings mutual.
I haven't had a good track record with lawmen either.
Wait, just like the whole, like, everybody's just like, yeah, we're with you, Medi, ACAB.
That's why I don't use them as my helpers. I can't trust them not to take their guns out and go, pow, pow. blam, 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 blam. Ugh, oh, I'm dying. My guts are falling out. Oh, why, policeman? Why? Ugh.
She's such a streamer.
Anyway, if my blood bags died, it would mean I couldn't get a fresh supply of blood without doing very risky things.
Yeah, no, this VA, she's on it.
I realized that the more blood bags I had, the safer I'd be. That's why when I found out about the internet, I knew I had to get online.
I guess that makes some kind of sense.
Oh, it was so exciting though, little mouse. All of a sudden, I could make people do whatever I wanted without having to leave my flat at all. I had so many fans, and they would disappear, but then they would be replaced by even more, just like insects. It was very easy back then. All you had to do is say you were a girl, and the grabby little grubs would come out of their holes. Ah, we want vaginas.
But they aren't Jackness. Remember, Andy specifically still uses a typewriter.
So I ain't exactly gonna defend how menfolk act on the internet, but going back to what we were saying before, using these funny labels of yours probably makes it easier to fall into the overgeneralization trap. If you label people on the internet grabby grubs, well, that's all you're gonna find, know what I mean?
Sometimes I think maybe you're a fun vampire. You take all the fun and go...
I ain't trying to ruin your fun, Betty. Just asking you to think about the words you use and why you might be using them.
But then people realized they could say that they were anything on the internet. It was all like a big game. And what do you suppose I said I was, little mouse?
A wizard?
Did you say you were a wizard?
No, I don't like wizards.
Yeah, I guess I don't either. Always cheating at cards. That ain't right.
I think you're thinking of magicians, little mouse. I said I was a vampire.
Well, that sounds kind of dangerous. I'm surprised you were so open about it after all you've been through.
Oh, but as far as they knew, I was only pretending to be a vampire because you could be anything you wanted to be. Sometimes they would come to meet me in person and they were so surprised when I drank all of their blood. But I don't think they minded very much.
That sounds like the sort of thing Isabella definitely has, Jackness. Oh, this is mind reading. Yeah, this is mind reading. Which is something I knew she did. It was just like, which ones do we think she's going to display this time?
I think that was my favorite time of the internet. There was a little place there for everyone. Even me. I ran a web ring for vampires. We had our own websites where we would invite people to come let us drink their blood. I suspected some of the others were actual vampires, but even I didn't know. That's what made it so special. We would send V-mails to one another and talk about vampire things. Oh, of course, it was nothing more than silly games.
It sounds as though Maddie had a healthy set of relationships, but she diminishes their importance.
We would send V...
It sounds like it was maybe more than silly games. Seems to me you had yourself a group of friends.
I suppose it must have been. How strange. Never really thought about it that way. Yes, I liked them, and they were my friends.
And some of them friends were probably mortals.
I was friends with mortals. How bizarre. Anyway, I think for the only time ever in my life, I had a community.
Gosh, you actually make it sound pretty nice. Maybe I should get a little more into this internet thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're too late for that, internet little mouse. It's all gone now.
Well, dang, what happened? Where did the whole internet go?
It went to social media. Face Friend and Gibber and Stumbler and all those.
Do not lump Tumblr in with Facebook and Twitter. Tumblr is its own special brand of hell. And is also probably about as close as you can get to the old style of internet that she liked. Yeah, like, don't bring Tumblr into this.
Instead of looking for people like us, we just started asking the entire world to pay attention to us instead.
Well, that don't make too much sense to me. Sometimes when I was walking in the deep woods at night, I just used to have a good yell, but I didn't expect nobody to answer.
But that silly little mouse. The darkness is always listening, and something will always call back. We just don't know who or what.
I'm having a little trouble following. So it sounds like you had a group of people you trusted, and then just anyone?
That's right. I didn't know who they were. They just started following me. And some of them followed me because they thought I was pretty, and some because they thought I was strange, and some because their friends were following me. Suddenly, I had 1 million mortals who would do anything I wanted them to do, and believe whatever I wanted them to believe. It's easy, you know, little mouse. They want to be controlled, and I can control them all.
They want to be controlled? How do you know that?
Hello, Astrid.
They live such short, confused lives, full of uncertainty. I'm doing them a favor, Mouseling.
Even if that's true, you still can't read their minds. Maybe they don't want that favor. Maybe they don't know they're uncertain. Heck, maybe they even like uncertainty.
Oh, silly cowboy. They don't know what they want or don't want. You know that.
It's true. She did live as a Witch of the Wilds for a long time too, Jackness.
The only problem is that I have so many of them to take care of. The problem with having so many followers is that I have to feed them so much content. Even just playing video games all the time can be a lot of work.
And you said that taking that break didn't do much for you, huh? You were just thinking about all the work you have to do for your followers?
That's right.
It sounds like you might have a bit of an addiction, Betty. I gotta question whether having all these followers is a good thing for you. Having friends is nice, but these fans and zealots, well, it sounds like you've taken on a big task.
It is. But I can't help that they're so very needy. If they weren't so hungry all the time, I wouldn't have to feed them.
She's blaming here. Astrid, what are you doing, sweetie? Astrid? Yeah, there's been so many of them lately.
At least there are some that need a little less attention. It's the zealots who are the most demanding.
Welcome back, Velasco.
Remind me again, who are these zealots?
From my Only Zealots page. The website where I show my breasts and vulva.
Oh yeah, that one.
Don't be scared, little mouse. You're acting like a mortal. It's just squishy parts, we all have them. They're not special.
Oh, fair enough. I'm just not a very European vampire yet. So, these zealots, they take up a lot of your time?
Yes. It's frightfully bothersome. But they're ever so reliable. And someone has to go deal with my landlord and my computer upgrades. And go to prison for me if necessary.
Well, dang, it sounds to me like you're asking way too much of each other. This can't be healthy. Isn't there a better amount of interaction on these websites?
But I always know best when it comes to the internet. I have more followers than just about anyone, Little Mouse.
I think it's obvious you know what's effective for your picking up followers and getting them to do stuff for you. But I don't think anyone really knows how this thing works.
That's okay, Velasco. I wouldn't ask anyone to go to prison for me. I would just ask for help, like, getting to the pig farm.
You can't have all the answers. The answers are always changing. You've said it yourself. You've already been through one internet. Who's to say how long this one will last?
Well, that's worse then. That means that I have to have lots and lots and lots of followers in case this internet goes away.
Well, let's say that's true, and I don't think it is. It just means you gotta be adaptable, right? Cunning like a fox.
I suppose that's true. Maybe there are other ways of doing the internet. But even that sounds like more work. There's something more, though, about the internet and how it works. It's a secret, though. Can you keep a secret, Little Mouse?
Nothing you say leaves this room.
Well, the secret is that the internet is changing. Because of me.
Well, Medi, that's a very personalization comment that I don't have personalization for, but...
Well, how do you mean?
I discovered something. Do you know how I told you that the internet used to be a nice way to meet people who thought the way I did?
Well, yeah, I think I got that.
Well, something there in the darkness is helping me. It makes people think they know me and want to follow me and be close to me, even if they wouldn't normally like me. It has been watching everything the mortals have been doing for a long time, and it remembers all of it, no matter how big or small. It counts every second, it remembers every click, it can tell you what you want before you even know it.
The algorithm?
Well, you gotta be kidding me. Is it some kind of elder vampire?
I don't know, but it's growing very quickly. I learned how to speak with it. It calls itself the algorithm, and it's hungry, even hungrier than we are. It's the creature that told all those mortals to follow me in the first place. It decides what and how much content I need to make. It's probably listening to us right now. It says, I told you, the darkness is always listening.
You're a little paranoid, Medi.
Mitty, if what you're saying is true, I think this is some really dangerous shit. This algorithm sounds like it's trying to turn humanity into a big formula.
But it's doing it. What if all mortals really are just the same?
Mitty, I don't think that's true. You said it yourself. People used to find each other because of their similarities, right? Now this algorithm, I don't think it's proving humanity is all the same. I think it's trying to push humanity all in one direction. It's trying to make them all the same.
But why would it want to do that?
I don't know, I just got a bad feeling about this.
Didn't you say that feelings don't make something real?
I know, I don't know. I think I don't know enough to say yet. But Mitty, one thing I am sure of is that this algorithm thing is hurting you. It's telling you what content to make. Who the hell is it anyway? I gotta ask you to think about what you want. Pretend there ain't no zealots and there ain't no fans. What would you be doing if they weren't around?
Are you alright, Little Mouse? You're going quite pale, which is impressive for a vampire. I don't wish to worry you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just tell me you're gonna do something for you this month.
Well, I used to make my own clothing. I could try to do that if it would make you feel better, my sweet little rodent.
What'd make me happy, Mitty, is you doing something just for you. Does that sound good?
Alright, I'll try then. I will see you next month.
Of course. You take care of yourself. I'll be looking forward to seeing what you've sewed up next time.
Then, farewell, little mouse. I hope you find a nice hole to scurry into.
And did you get that stuff about the algorithm? You ever heard about anything like it?
I am not eager to reveal such things to you, but there are sleeping terrors that could certainly consume us if we are unlucky enough for them to awaken. But this, no. I am not aware of any such creature. What Mitty described, a creature that takes note of every small change in nature, sounds like a force of nature itself. I will make inquiries. Do not fear, Samuel. Even if such a beast truly exists, it cannot change our nature as long as we are true to ourselves. This only proves how important our work is, does it not?
Yeah, you're right. I guess I got a little spooked, but we'll be fine.
You know what might make you feel better? Dancing.
I ain't that shook up, Andy. Maybe I'll go down and get me a drink, though.
I will not probe, though I am curious about your aversion to dancing. When you are ready to speak of it, I am here.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Andy basically just confirming the existence of elder gods. I just want her to have fun, Jackness. I just want her to have fun for herself.
You're gonna be waiting a while, boss.
As long as it is less than eternity, I will be here.
Okay, you go do your wise old vampire wizard thing, and I'll go drink some blood. I'll see you later, Andy.
Rest in peace, Samuel.
Well, that was odd.
Another night, another soul canceled.
I got more insight into how Meddy's letting the internet affect her. Andy suspects there's an ancient fallen angel out there pulling the strings. Bases her personal value on her follower count going up, doesn't seem to have any real friends, just fans, is letting this algorithm determine what she does all day. Still not spending time offline. Whatever this algorithm is, it sounds like a real asshole. I'm worried this thing has really got its hooks in Meddy. I'll keep pushing her to value herself, though.
Can't believe someone as old as Meddy's letting anyone control her. I guess some problems don't disappear no matter how old we get. Well, time to get some bartender wisdom. Howdy, Crimson. Think you could whip me up one of them bloody Steves?
Sure thing, cowboy. Tough night at the office.
Oh, just got some of them existential questions lingering on my mind. Can you believe someone can be 1,800 years old and still let society tell them what to do?
I can believe it. Folks can get real uncomfortable when someone shows up and does things differently.
No kidding, my client's a weird one, but I think that's what makes her special. Just wish she saw it the same way.
Think you're making some headway, Chief? How's your session go?
I'm getting somewhere with her, slowly but surely. She does a lot for other people, but not a lot for herself. Now that makes her real popular, but I think she's realizing that popularity ain't what it's cracked up to be. She's got her own strengths, and I hope she'll lean on them.
You're a rare one, Sam. I get where she's coming from. Lawyers like rules, even about lawyering. My colleagues didn't care much for my style, so I had to adapt. But they'd get so bogged down in doing something right that they'd stop getting anything done.
How do you like to do things then?
I told you how case law is my thing, right? Well, I studied the worst cases. The ones where injustice prevailed because some corrupt judge invoked some ancient precedent. I used their tools against them. Made them look like fools. What goes around comes around, right?
And your colleagues weren't into that?
Hell no. No one was gonna listen unless I was polite and civil. But power never listens to polite and civil.
You got that right. Well, that's a shame, Crimson. Sounds like they lost a hell of a lawyer.
They sure did. Now, I got that drink for you. Sorry, no bloody Steves this time. This one's a Gunther.
I'm sure I'll love it. I'll take it up to my coffin for a day cap. You have a good night, Crimson.
You too, cowboy.
Ah, there we go. Nice and cozy. Now, let's see. I can read Emerson. I think he's got a piece that'll help me reflect on the night. Or I could watch Charlie Chaplin make lawmen look like fools.
Well, let's read some Emerson.
I'm always grateful to my transcendentalist family for introducing me to Emerson. I think there's a passage about being a nonconformist in Self-Reliance. Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. He who would gather immortal palms must not be hindered by the name of goodness, but must explore it if it be goodness.
I want to try and take my next break when we're in this, so I can let you all just sit and watch it while I'm gone.
Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Absolve you to yourself, and you shall have the suffrage of the world. I like that. Exploring is its own goodness. I learned that lesson hard in my quiet years. Just observing the world taught me more than all my years of living. With 1,800 years, who knows what good Meddy's found. Well, I think that'll do it for me tonight. Time for some shut-eye. Think I've got some tough battles ahead.
So next should be our own therapy session.
There he is, Samuel Walls, vampire therapist extraordinaire. How are you feeling tonight?
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm keeping my hat on, but that don't make me an ace therapist.
No, but your progress with your clients does. I must confess, I think you are a more fitting therapist than I am. Your clients are quickly comfortable with you. I believe my clients are afraid of disappointing me.
I mean, I guess I can see where that makes sense. I ain't too keen to disappoint you either. You always make that face.
What face is this now?
Never mind.
I'm teasing you, Samuel. I understand. It can be difficult to relate to a 3,000-year-old being. But let us not spend our time talking about me. I am more curious about you. Let us start with some meditation, and we will see what arises for you. Remember your place of comfort, my friend, and remember to breathe.
Life just ain't fair. There once was a man named John Muir. Maybe I should start a farm or something. Not Debella. For blood taste. Wonder whether I can rent a horse. The bastards are unstoppable now. I deserve to be punished for what I've done. Ain't right, they don't let dead folk vote. Wonder what's going on back home. Old Reinhardt doesn't try to teach me more German. Crimson's real cute when she scrunches her nose up. I've been a real bad boy. Wonder how Edmund's doing.
Are you feeling better, my friend?
Yeah, I think I'm more in tune with my own thoughts these days.
I am delighted to hear it. What sorts of things came up for you?
After our last session, I can't help but think about my criminal past and how I was pointing fingers everywhere but at myself. The universe dealt me a bad hand, but I played that hand poorly. I got abused, and then I abused other folk. I guess that's only fair, so yeah, I can feel bad, but maybe the universe was just evening itself out.
Aha. Samuel, I know that when we both have suffered and caused suffering, it is tempting to blame the fates. But this is dangerous, a sort of cosmic control fallacy. If we expect that fate will reward and punish fairly, we are bound to be disappointed. We are immortals, Samuel. We live long enough to see old grudges die, and the judgments of our generation replaced by another. So in the grand scale of time, how can any judge fairness?
Dang, that's a real good point, Andy. But a depressing one, honestly. I was never a man of faith, but walking in them woods for so long, seeing so much nature, so much life and death, I started to feel a kind of flow to the universe, you know?
I understand, Samuel. I am not suggesting that you deny any kind of spiritual faith you may have. It is fairness that is the fallacy. If we cannot define fairness, we certainly cannot expect it.
Yeah, I think I see what you mean. Dang, another cognitive distortion, huh?
No one ever said being human was easy. Yes, this distortion is called the fairness fallacy by mortal psychologists.
You know those folks who say I work hard so I deserve to get what I want? Well, just you thinking you deserve something don't mean the universe will reward you. Truth is, your definition of fair is personal, and it will often conflict with other people's definitions. It's a fairness fallacy to assume our picture of what's fair is the only reasonable outcome. For examples, I donate to lots of vampire charities, so I know I'll be rewarded by tripping on an oil deposit real soon. My buddy Alejandro sleeps in his coffin all day. He doesn't deserve his muscle tone. I'm a great therapist, so Andy will surely give me his therapy practice, even though I got no head for business.
Let me give you a few statements that might have examples of the fairness fallacy, and you try to find them. I work hard to ensure my club is dope because I believe in earning my good reputation. Hey man, like, maybe it's good karma and maybe it isn't, but I just like to put out some positive vibes. The great vampire banker Count Van Gelder has been an entitled prick for 6 centuries. It's only a matter of time before he gets what's coming to him.
I think I heard of this fella. He was one of them vampires pulling the inflation strings during that coronavirus thing, right? They say he caused the Great Depression back home, too. You're right that he's acting like a prick, but the universe ain't accidentally gonna make him fall on a wooden stake.
You are correct. This is a fairness fallacy, and a bit of wishful thinking.
You really don't like this fella, huh, Andy?
He is a 600-year-old investment banker. He's tried to summon demons, and even they refuse to spend time with him.
Yeah, and he's ugly, too.
Let us not descend to his level, Samuel.
Oh, sorry.
For you would never reach the bottom. Why bother being kind to mortals? The universe only punishes kindness.
The universe punishes kindness? Well, that ain't nothing you can know, boss. Sounds like a fairness fallacy to me.
Indeed, Samuel. It's the sort of thing a more nihilistic vampire might say. But such nihilism is not founded in objective reality. And nihilistic vampires are real downers at parties. At the last Blood Drinkers Ball, I ended up at the same table as Ayn Rand.
No! No! No, Andy, please! Tell me she's not a vampire! No! What a terrible universe to live in. I know, it does make total sense that she would be a vampire, but...
I cannot imagine who decided to offer her immortality. That was my longest night in thousands of years.
I'm with you on that one, Andy. I'm with you on that one.
But well spotted, Samuel.
I got all the fairness fallacies right.
Indeed you did, Samuel. You are most adept at tracking down cognitive distortions.
I got a good tracking nose, I'll tell you that. I can't tell you the incredible things I learned just being in nature for so long.
Unfortunately, Nocturnum, the world is not fair like that. I guarantee when we inevitably see Edmund for a 4th session, fairness fallacy is going to be a massive part of it.
Yes, you speak quite highly of this time. This is where you discovered the concept of cognitive distortions, and you said something about a flow to the universe?
Oh, yeah, that. I don't know, Andy. Something about seeing so much life and death and rebirth. I think it made me start to look at things differently.
It sounds as though it was a spiritual experience for you, Samuel.
I think it was, too. My buddy John, yeah, he showed me the way. John Muir, you probably know who he is.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be him. Like, it's going to be a mess of blaming and fairness fallacies, labeling, I'm sure.
Yes, of course, the American naturalist. He made the entire United States agree that its nature was beautiful and worth protecting.
That's John, all right. I used to call him Johnny Christ because of the way he could make you believe. He didn't like that too much, but he had a way of making people think differently.
How did you meet?
By the late 1800s, my hippie friends moved west. John, he was their hero. He walked and thought, and no modern comforts. We got along well. He liked that I never got tired. We usually walked in silence, appreciating nature. He'd draw, I'd write. I think it was the first man I fell in love with. I was still a young vampire then, not even a century old, thinking I was straight.
Most of us need a good 100 years before we are ready to open Pandora's underwear drawer.
I think that's my new favorite phrase. I think that's gonna be my new favorite phrase to discovering your sexuality is opening Pandora's underwear drawer.
Yeah, about that.
When did you start exploring?
How long did it take you to branch out?
Oh, Samuel, death had little effect on my sexuality. I am from another era. Do you remember the 1970s? They were nothing compared to the 970s BC. The stories I could tell you. One night, my friend Heraclos and I snuck into the
I was just thinking about the time.
I'm joking, Samuel. Such a thing is not for a therapist to share in a session. I just wanted to tease the American a little.
Well, I think you're being real mean. Sorry. That's what I used to say to Princess when she was being naughty.
I need to know about Andy's history.
I am honored to share the space in your mind occupied by your beloved horse.
Oh, also, speaking of Andy's history, apparently Cyrus has planned like 4 more games in this series. So, why are we so sexy anyway?
Why are we such sexy beasts anyway, Andy? Seems even the mortals know what we're like.
We are powerful, immortal beings. Our capacity to explore is something no mortal can dream of, as is our capacity to be bored. Dr. Drain might say that we have dopamine cravings that become harder to satisfy over time, and that might well be true.
Wait, so the older we get, the hornier we get?
You have an interesting future ahead of you, my friend. We'll make an international of you yet.
Are there any straight vampires?
I've been wondering, are there older straight vampires out there?
No. Sexual exclusivity of any sort seems incompatible with immortality. There is a group of vampires out in Washington who claim to be straight, but they are not fooling anyone.
Well, that's enough
Well,
of that.
that's my curiosity satisfied. But speaking of which, I was talking about John. I fell for him hard. He wasn't into me like that, though. I don't think his wife got much from him, neither. That man was married to Mother Nature. But he was good company. I helped him map the West by sharing what I'd seen at night. I offered him my blood, but he was offended at that. He valued death and pitied my immortality. He just liked things as they were.
I wish I had met him. His mindset aligns with accepting things without judgment, as we explore in therapy.
He was an incredible fella. When he told me, Sam, I'm gonna get Teddy Roosevelt to make a law protecting all this, I believed him. Before he died, he urged me never to forget the earth. But I got busy roaming and didn't notice the wilderness shrinking. My old gang tracked me down and drove me to you. If I can't help them see another way of living, they'll destroy this planet.
How is a group of gangsters going to destroy the planet?
Right. Well, the Mystic Bastards are doing more than robbing banks and holding up trains these days. They got organized. And now they're called Sanguinius Health. They're a health insurance company, draining folks of their blood, money, and hope. Well, they're big now, too. Real big. Got friends in high places in the mortal world. Nobody knows they're vampires.
I was not aware of this company.
Well, they're good at keeping secrets. Even in the 1800s, we had a code language. They'd bring on the Infinite Dawn if it made them money. If I can't stop them, they surely will.
This sounds serious, but remember to not let your fears distort your thoughts.
It's true, Nocturnum. I'm not surprised to hear that his gang has gotten into insurance.
When we foresee only a negative end to a complex situation, this is called catastrophizing. Another extreme that colors our thinking.
As vampires, we can imagine the worst outcome to any situation, because we've seen some real shit. But expecting disaster from the smallest issues ain't being honest with reality. Catastrophizing keeps us locked in fear of doom, but we can break out of it if we keep our cool. Dang it, I missed a shot. Now my reputation's gonna be shot too. I heard a rumor one of them dang Van Helsings is in town. This is it, compadres, we're dead. I feel weak tonight. I must be losing my vampiric powers.
Meaning, maybe things are rough, but I can't see every angle, right?
Yes, exactly. This is not to say your worries are overblown, but being able to imagine varied futures is useful in our decision making. Let me give you an exercise so you can identify catastrophizing. I always make sure I keep my coffin key with me when I go to sleep. It would be embarrassing to be trapped in my coffin. I sent my friend Bazul the Bloodborne a funny cat video, but he left it on red. He is surely plotting my demise.
That sounds like a pretty strong assumption to make. Maybe Bazul the Bloodborne was busy doing a puzzle, or knitting a cape or something.
Apparently catastrophizing is the last of our cognitive distortions because we just received an achievement.
You are so wholesome, Samuel. I think I know what Bazul was doing, and it was not knitting. It could have been countless things, so you are correct. It is unlikely that he has left me unread out of malice. It was a really good cat video, though. I will send it to you later.
Oh, you never responded to that funny video I sent you of the horse pretending not to like carrots. That was a good one, huh?
Oh, I will have to remember to examine it later.
I don't think he watches any of my horse videos.
I saw a rat in my club the other night. The health inspector will certainly shut us down and expose me as a vampire.
Yeah, I want to see it too, Andy.
I don't think one rat showing up at your club is going to make the health inspector take you down, boss. I mean, the rats were some of the cleanest things at a few saloons I've been to.
You are correct. That was some clear catastrophizing. I have not seen a rat here ever since I hired Bert.
I can't say I ain't had a rat-eating phase myself.
Oh no, Bert eats everything. He's kind of like a vampire goat. I do not know how he does it.
I guess Bert could eat the health inspector, too.
I think they know better than to get too close. Oh no, I am trapped outside during the day, and it is the middle of summer. I shall burn to ashes.
Oh, it ain't like that, boss. Getting trapped outside on a sunny day ain't gonna turn you to ashes.
How long have you been a vampire, Samuel?
Okay, so that one was
220
real.
years?
Do not stand in the sun, Samuel.
Yes, sir.
When I DJ downstairs, I must ensure that I do not wait too long to drop the beat, or my patrons will think I am a terrible club owner and leave.
I don't know, boss. I don't think anyone's gonna get all that worked up about dropping a beat. That's gotta be catastrophizing.
You are correct, Samuel. I am sure they will forgive me. Though, I do not let the beat drop too late or too early, but precisely when I mean to.
All right there, Gandalf.
Who is Gandalf?
Never mind.
Andy! Andy, you are 3,000 years old and you have not read The Lord of the Rings?
I think I get what catastrophizing is now. It's just hard to see other angles when I see how powerful my ex-gang's gotten, you know? But I know them. Well, they're just like I was. Maybe they've gotten better at being evil, but I get where it comes from now. That's why I feel this responsibility to help them. Now, I know that's a control fallacy. Maybe I can't help them, but I do want to try.
Wanting to guide them out of the darkness is not a cognitive distortion, Samuel. It is a noble aim, truly.
I'm just not sure I can do anything. I'd probably just make them worse.
That sounds like catastrophizing to me, Samuel. I believe that you will help some and be unable to help others, or some may not be ready to be helped.
I reckon you're right. I gotta take things as they come. Just follow that flow of nature.
You are doing exceptionally well, Samuel. I have seen your clients slowly changing the way they look at themselves.
I don't know, Andy. Seems like there's a lot of work to do.
There always is. That we will have work to do is one of the few things we can truly expect.
Well, I surely hope things keep going well.
I am not a man of faith, Samuel, but I do have faith in you.
Oh, gosh.
Come, let us wind down together. Perhaps you'd like to play Settlers of Wallachia with me?
That sounds like the kind of quiet evening I'm looking for.
Come then. I will set up the board.
If Settlers of Wallachia is anything like Settlers of Catan, I get the feeling it probably was not a quiet evening.
Good evening, Samuel. I hope we are feeling good about tonight.
Golly, what a month. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Okay. Golly, what a month. I took some time to do some traveling in Europe between client sessions. Prague is a great place to be a vampire. Nobody gave my fangs a second look. Well, unless I was biting them, which they did not mind at all. Andy hooked me up with some vampires in Paris too. We took a trip to the catacombs and drank real expensive blood. Wasn't that good to me, but I've got simple tastes. Beautiful city though. My clients are doing pretty well, I think. I even had one move on, so I guess I must be doing something right. And I learned 2 more distortions tonight. Oh, and Crimson's a lawyer? Didn't see that one coming.
Honestly, yeah. I think Dr. Drain's starting to accept himself. That's what this is all about, ain't it?
Indeed, Samuel. There will always be room for self-improvement, of course. None of us are perfect, and none of us are irredeemable.
I reckon so. Whoever shows up tonight, I'll give him that same benefit of the doubt.
She did. She did tell us she was a lawyer in DC for a while, Velasco.
You are a wonder, my dear. What distortions do you think you'll focus on tonight?
Oh, goodness. For Drain... Alright, yes. Should statements is his main issue. He disqualifies the positive. He absolutely catastrophizes. Definitely blames. Do we want fairness or control? Because I'm leaning towards fairness or control. Maybe mind reading, too. That's fair. Could be emotional, in case we do see Lourdes. Yeah, I think I really am heavy on the control, I think, though.
I think these are the ones that are likely to come up.
They all do, one way or another. We are wildly irrational beings, my friend. But I will leave you to Dr. Drain.
All right, I think I'm ready. Here it comes. Hello, darling. Miss me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Look, are we gonna have a civilized meeting this time, or are you gonna break them fangs out? I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. And you know what? You're going to love it, American. So lay your cares and your underpants at the door, because Lord Lourdes is here to take you away. I guess Dr. Drain's back on the stuff again. Why don't you ask the little worm yourself? Oh, Doctor! Your master summons you. Hello, Sam. Doc, what's going on here? Why is Lord Lourdes calling himself your master? Because that's what he is. You've helped me accept that, curse you.
Oh, no.
Whoa there, compadre. How did I help you accept Lord Lourdes as your master? That weren't ever a thing I encouraged. You were correct. I was approaching my issue unscientifically. I thought I could restrain him forever, but I was suppressing my vampiric needs. I had to accept the scientific truth. I am not nature's master. Nature is the master of all. To fight that reality is folly. Now hold on there, cowpoke. That's some extreme thinking there. I'm no scientist, but ain't finding nature as natural as nature itself?
Boy, I'm glad we chose that control fallacy.
You're just babbling now. I ain't. Isn't fighting nature where we all come from? Why we walked out of the sea in the first place? Why anything lives? Evolution is the inevitable result of a species' fight for survival. Those best adapted to their environments thrive, and those who do not, die. It is not done with intent. Yeah, but them species are fighting nature, ain't they? And the fighting's what makes them what they are. A simplistic interpretation, though I suppose not inaccurate. But still, I realized that I was suppressing a great part of myself. I did as you instructed, you know. I drank blood. Real blood. And it was incredible. I had forgotten how it was not just the taste that made one feel satisfied. It's the feeling of life that it infuses in the body. I felt strong. confident, above the petty worries and squabbles that come with mortality. I felt like a vampire, like the base creature that I truly am. What choice had I but to welcome the truth? I am a slave to my nature. So you see, I am his master. I always have been, and I always will be. Just as I told you, therapist. The same dark master lies within you. You know this, don't you? I can see him behind your eyes. Oh yes, you cannot hide him from me. You cannot hide the blood, the screaming, the power you felt when you stripped the life and dignity from those pathetic mortals. I know your thoughts, my leather-bound friend. I know what you crave. Lie back, and I will give it to you.
Well, didn't bring mind reading, but that was mind reading.
You poor, pathetic creature. You cannot even accept my gifts, can you? You wear the American flag as your chastity cage. You know, I think I'll pick up one of those at the sex shop on the way home. I wouldn't want the dear doctor using my beloved equipment. You really think you can dominate him completely? That's a control fallacy, amigo. Dr. Drain tried to shut you out and couldn't. You can't shut him out either. I don't need to shut him out any longer, naive fool. He has accepted that I am his true nature, and that I will always know what is best for him.
Well, there's always right.
Look, put Dr. Drain back on. I want to get his take on all this. But of course, talk to him all you like. He's a good boy now and knows what's best for him. Doc, what's going on here? This ain't you. You're maybe the most motivated fella I ever met. Lord Luridus ain't who you are. Don't you see, Sam? He is who I am. When I drank that real blood again, I knew it. I felt him. Every time I indulge, he will take over. Now hold on a minute there, Doc. It sounds a heck of a lot to me like you're giving up control to Lord Luridus. If you're doing that from the start, you're gonna be proven right. You're 400 years old, compadre. I think you can handle that guy. Can I, though? Can any animal overcome its base, necessary instincts? It's just... I wish that Lord Luridus were not a natural outcome of my vampiric needs.
Okay, it looks like I should be back now. Okay. Fun. Man, I didn't even, like, I haven't dropped any frames at all today. I don't know. That was very sudden. Just the internet just, like, cutting on out, I guess. Apparently Nocturnum, it is apparently trying to take over.
It isn't fair. I have worked so hard to overcome our curse. Don't I deserve a better nature?
Oh, well now I feel bad I don't have fairness fallacy here.
Dang, that fellow looks pretty down. What can I do? Partner, I gotta pass on a little cowboy wisdom here. And that is, a horse is a horse. Of course, of course. Good God. I think my brain just succumbed to age and rotted out of my head. If that is cowboy wisdom, I shudder to imagine what cowboy ignorance is. I'm serious. Tell me, Doc, what is a horse? Equus ferus caballus, an ungulate of the family Equidae. Herbivorous perissodactyls, they... No, I didn't say classify a horse. I asked what is a horse. What do you mean, what is a horse? I'm asking just that. Don't describe it, just tell me, what's a horse? What the hell are you saying? A horse is a horse. Of course.
I'm sorry, when is the sunrise today? I think I should like to meet it.
And what are you, Dr. Drain?
I'm a vampire.
And a vampire is a vampire. Of course. So what would you tell a friend who's feeling bad about being a vampire?
I would tell them that it is ridiculous to feel bad about what they are.
Well, let's soften that up a little.
I would tell them there is no reason to feel bad about what they are.
So why don't you tell yourself that? You all right there, partner?
Just give me a moment. Dr. Drain, there is no reason to feel bad about what you are.
Yeehaw! Now that's what I'm talking about.
Please tell me you did not just yee-haw during my breakthrough.
I couldn't help it. I'm proud of you, Buckaroo.
Oh, yes, yes. Dr. Drain should be very proud of who he is. You forget, my little gun fetishist friend. I am Dr. Drain. I am the truest part of him. And you have no idea what depravities I've been up to, what uncharted places I have explored with my tongue alone. And it's all Dr. Drain's fault. He made me feral.
All right, Dr. Drain, I know you're in there. We gotta admit something. You're giving a little too much blame to Lord Luridus here. You can control this guy, but because you're blaming him, you're giving him a pass to be depraved.
Oh, that's not why he gives me a pass, darling. It's because he loves depravity. The murderous little pervert can't wait for me to take over. I should be so proud of how filthy he is. You know why he loves it when I take over? Because it feels good. He knows that because he feels that delicious blood euphoria. It is because that is what he is meant to feel.
So, mind reading again.
No, you unfuckable wretch. Dr. Drain should not be proud of me. I'm sick. I'm twisted. I am a filthy motherfucker. Or I would be, if she weren't long dead. Actually, I wonder where old Mama's buried.
That's labeling.
You know, he thinks his mother died of old age. But you know what I think? I think she died of shame. Because she knew I was her real son all along. Oh, admit it. You know what Dr. Drain is. No matter how great a scientist he may be, Dr. Drain is a creature of pure shame. That is the essence of his being. That is what makes me so strong.
I ain't gonna deny our man Dr. Drain is feeling a lot of shame, but that don't define him. He's lots of things. He's dang smart, incredibly knowledgeable fella. He's pretty funny sometimes. Got that real British type of humor. And he's real determined. I ain't never seen anyone work toward a goal like him. He's a hell of a lot more than shame.
Do you remember how I told you I didn't have a gag reflex? I believe I might have been wrong. Why, I believe you've inspired something in me. I can add a new sentiment to my feelings about your little doctor. Pity. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Such a shame. Now why must you deny the poor little worm? If he loves science as much as he pretends to, he knows that I am inevitable. He should give in to me.
It ain't up to you to decide what Dr. Drain should or shouldn't do. All them shoulds were the thing that made him lock you up in the first place. They're what made him afraid and ashamed, because he was always thinking about what he should be or do.
Of course, they were his own creation, but he cannot help it. He knows in his heart that he should... Lord Luridus, did I give you permission to speak, my little worm? I don't need permission. I just wanted to tell you something. Oh, he wants to tell me something. Well, go ahead, darling. Tell me something. I shall remember it when I'm shagging a football fanatic in a dumpster.
That's an image.
I accept you. What do you mean you accept me? You cannot accept me. I am your nightmare made flesh. I am the reflection in the mirror you cannot see. Nevertheless, I accept you. I accept your bloodlust. I accept your violence. You accept my cock. Yes, I accept even that. I will not deny you any longer. But as you are me, I am you. I take responsibility for all your actions. I shall feed you and nourish you, and you shall live by the Hippocratic oath I have sworn. dare you to try, you sniveling... No, I do not need to try. You and I are one. I know you. I accept you. And I love you all the same. Curse you. Curse you both. You sicken me. You do not sicken me. I accept you.
Edmund is obviously... I feel like we might not be able to help Edmund. But Drain and Isabella and Medi, I think we can probably help. I mean, Andy warned us before our first session with Edmund that we might not be able to help him. That nobody might be, like, there might not be anybody able to help him. And, like, maybe he is supposed to be that hard lesson for us. But I'm glad to see Drain, like, these breakthroughs are really nice to see in Drain and Isabella and Medi. Medi's having a hard time. But, like, Drain and Isabella are both really putting the effort and work in, and it's nice.
No. I accept you. No!
Oh, look at him! Look at how relaxed he looks. Oh, this is nice.
Dr. Drain? Are you alright?
Yes, Sam. I am fine.
You look fine.
I feel fine. It is a very new feeling. I'm not sure I know what to do with it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but do you want to go down and dance in the club?
Dance? Dance? Would I like to dance? Yes. Yes, I would like to dance. Let us dance.
I was hoping you wouldn't say yes, but well, let's go, partner.
No, I don't think Drain would fuck a soccer fan in a dumpster. Because he'd be concerned about what they could
Come on,
catch.
Sam. Let us cut rods.
Huge breakthrough today. Dr. Drain accepted Lord Luridus and all his needs. I think it's gonna be smooth sailing from here on in. Dr. Drain figured out that Lord Luridus' needs aren't bad or good. Dr. Drain accepted that he's a vampire and that comes with certain realities. Going forward, I think the important thing is making sure that Lord Luridus comes out in healthy ways. I don't want to see Dr. Drain digging up his mother or nothing.
I ain't much of a dancer.
Neither am I, but dancing is what I feel like doing.
I guess we're dancing then.
Now what the hell am I looking at? Bert, you be nice. I guess that explains why Sam doesn't dance.
Crimson, most dear, have you seen Samuel? I usually check in with him after a session, but he has disappeared.
Check it out, Sugar Blood.
What is he doing?
I think he's goth square dancing.
We should not laugh.
Now circle right and do-si-do.
But then again, that is a should statement. The master therapist once again enters his domain. Good evening, Samuel.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just the right cowpoke in the right place at the right time.
A cowpoke who has a habit of disqualifying the positive. It is ungracious to deny a compliment, my dear. You are an excellent therapist and an inspiring dancer.
All right. That's enough of that.
You are seeing Senora Deste tonight, yes? How do you feel about her progress?
I don't know. That lady can really hold some grudges. I think she's starting to think about herself a little more, though.
An ancient grudge is a difficult thing to forget. It can become a part of one's very identity. Vlad Tepes only became Dracula because he was obsessed with the Turks, remember?
Yeah, I don't think the Senora's that far gone.
Do you feel you are prepared for whatever distortions she might bring today?
No. Let's see.
Well, let me think about that.
So she definitely is a blamer. 100% blaming. Yeah, you're right. She's probably a fairness fallacy. She's usually always right. What are we thinking beyond that? Alright, so here's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah, I was leaning towards disqualifying the positive, labeling or should statements as her next one. Or overgeneralization. She's kind of racist against Spaniards and, against the Spanish and the French. Kind of racist against the Spanish and the French. She does do that a lot. But yeah, I think I'm with you on the disqualifying the positive. The hated Spaniards, the filthy French and their diseases.
All right, filled my chamber. I'm ready to go.
I don't remember people being like this about crossbows.
Well, you can take the cowboy out of the West, but you can't take the West out of the cowboy.
So it would seem. Well, good luck tonight, Samuel. I will leave you to it.
All right, deep breath, Sammy boy. Here she comes.
So, Cyrus mentioned that before it became clear he couldn't, like, physically code it in that well because, before it became clear it was going to be too much work, everybody was supposed to have their own little bat type. Like, they were all supposed to be different bat types and not just, like, the little generic bat that he uses.
Bonanati, Signora.
What?
It's Italian. I thought I'd learn how to say hello to you properly. Bonanati.
No, I cannot repeat it.
No, I cannot repeat it.
I appreciate your attempt to speak in my language, but please do not attempt to do so again. Good evening. We'll do fine.
That was a very gentle, please God, don't butcher my language again. Especially coming from the Signora.
Good evening, Signora.
I apologize. I am feeling delicate tonight.
What's going on, Signora?
The realization that I am merely a repulsive, angry old woman becomes disappointingly clear. It weighs upon me in more than one way.
Yeah, should have gone with labeling.
This can't be coming from nowhere, Signora. What's the deal? Last time we were talking, you seemed to be feeling pretty good.
You want to know why I am disgusted with myself? Here, look.
Whoa, hello there.
That looks pretty impressive for someone who hasn't painted in centuries.
I know. It is terrible.
I wouldn't say that at all, Signora. In fact, I think it's beautiful. I can tell you put a lot of love into this thing.
It is an entirely juvenile effort. There is nothing redeemable about this rubbish.
I think you're being a little harsh there, Signora. I ain't capable of drawing anything half that good. It's clear to me you got some sense of what you're doing. I think you're focusing on your weak spots when there's a lot of good here.
Per favore, look at his abdomen. What is that? It looks like an insect's thorax.
Well, you might have been a little indulgent with the abs, but there's nothing wrong with a little indulgence. I call it style.
and I call it trash.
Believe me, Senora, I know horses. You're a heck of an artist.
Then why do I feel nothing but shame when I look upon it? If I feel nothing but disgust, then it is disgusting.
Isabella's feeling does not create objective truth. I find her centaur rather adorable, for
Alright,
instance.
this is back to her control fallacies.
Then why do I feel...
No?
Isabella's feeling does not create objective truth.
Oh, it's
Then
disqualifying.
why do I...
Senora, that's letting your gut make up reality. You look at this piece of art and see trash because that's how you're feeling. How come I don't think it's trash?
Oh, dear Sam. I mean this in the kindest way I can, but you are an asino.
I'm guessing that ain't a good thing.
It is a donkey.
Andy? Andy, why are you still here?
Well, that don't seem too kind to me. My opinions don't count.
In this case, no, because I am never wrong about art.
I gotta challenge you on that, Senora. Saying you're always right about art, well, that can't be true.
Oh, we
Art
found
is always changing.
a distortion within a distortion.
I've seen some European art from before your time that was supposed to be perfect, and dang, that baby Jesus always looks about 50.
And they had no sense of perspective. Barbarians.
Don't judge your art based on how you alone feel. Feelings ain't reality, and someone else is always gonna have another opinion.
You are indeed correct. But no one will see this insult to Chiron.
Now, what the heck did you go and do that for, Senora?
I did what one should do with garbage. It is better that the world never see such horrors.
Senora, if you think there's nothing good about this piece, I think you need a vampire optometrist more than a vampire therapist. Yeah, maybe it ain't your idea of perfect, but heck, what is? If you want to see real horror, ask me to draw anything other than my gun. I mean, what are you really looking for here, Senora? You looking to bring this fella to life with your brush? You think if you don't produce something completely perfect, it's garbage?
Yes. I apply the same standards to myself as I do to everyone else. Leonardo da Vinci once painted an illustration of my city of Mantua for me. It was beautiful. Leonardo had a mastery over art that modern mortals will never understand. But it was full of imperfections. The shape of one of the windows was wrong. The clouds looked slightly unnatural. I lit the painting on fire rather than let him embarrass himself. So why would I choose to embarrass myself?
All I can think of is just the horror of hearing that she lit a Da Vinci on fire that he made for her.
You lit a Leonardo da Vinci on fire?
I lit rubbish on fire. Da Vinci painted it, but it was still rubbish.
Dang, that fella must have been terrified of you.
He was, though he had no reason to be. All he had to do was be better. It had nothing to do with me.
Senora, with all due respect, are you kidding me? That fella was afraid of you, not a failure. What would have happened if you hadn't lit his painting on fire?
Then he would have been ashamed of a terrible piece of art.
Senora, this need for perfection you've got, it ain't doing good things for you.
How can you say this? By demanding perfection, I improve the work of others. I improve the work of myself.
Well, maybe that's true, but you're doing something less useful.
And what is that?
Senora, your standards are way too high. There ain't no way anyone can reach them.
So you keep saying. But there is nothing wrong with setting a high standard. The problem is the low standards of others. It is shameful to not strive for greatness. I will not tolerate your setting low standards. You will not disgrace my presence with shallow thoughts. Am I understood?
Yes, ma'am. No, wait, I meant to say... Senora, I gotta be honest here. You're terrifying everyone. You're terrifying your artists, your family, even yourself. Failure's a part of life. If imperfection's a mortal sin to you, ain't nobody gonna let you in on their imperfections. Not you, not your husband, and not your son neither.
How dare you? How dare you lecture me, peasant?
Well, yeah, at some point we were gonna make her angry. Like, at some point we were gonna make her angry.
How dare you suggest that I was anything less than the perfect mother to my Federico? You worm! Ho sputato sulla tomba di tua madre! Vi maledico ai livelli più profondi dell'inferno! Federico loved me. He knew that I knew what was best for him. Pull out your cognitive distortions now and I will tear your head from your neck.
I ain't never said Federico didn't love you. All I was saying was...
Zitto! Shut up, fool! You presume to tell me what I know. You, a common murderer! You who can barely speak your own language! I demanded perfection from my Federico so that he would not end up like his father, a degenerate leper whose penis hung by a thread of putrescent skin. I do not tolerate imperfection! Not from myself, not from this world, and not from my son!
You know what, Senora? If you want to have that kind of control, you're gonna have it all by your lonesome. I'm trying to help you, and you're screaming at me. Why? Because you can't stand being wrong? If I'm too scared to talk to you, what the hell are we doing here? What do you want me to do, lie to you? I ain't gonna do that, Isabella d'Este. If you're looking for perfection, you're only gonna find liars, and that ain't me.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you are right. Oh, Federico, what have I done?
Hey, it's okay, Senora.
He barely spoke to me when he came back from the Vatican. Every time I asked him how he was, he would say, "I am fine, mother." Of course he knew better than to talk to me. His father never did. No doubt it was I who drove them into the brothels.
Isabella is assuming her husband's decisions were entirely to do with her, but he was a human with his own mind, however flawed.
But I didn't bring personalization.
Of course he knew better than to...
I think that's simplifying things a little, Senora. Your boys made their own decisions.
Oh look, Andy's gone now.
There probably were a lot of reasons they went to the brothels, but putting it all on yourself just ain't accurate. You couldn't read their minds or control their behaviors.
Perhaps not. But I am certain their whores did not criticize them as I did. I was only trying to make them demand better of themselves. Why did the world punish me for this?
Senora, you weren't being punished. The world doesn't give out rewards and punishments on its own, no matter what we're intending. And it definitely ain't singling you out.
Of course. The world does not care for Isabella d'Este. Good intentions count for nothing.
Now come on. Senora, you're going to extremes again. Good intentions can be their own reward.
Oh, Sam, you are a simpleton. A wonderful, kind, wise simpleton.
Thanks, I guess.
I read my Wikipedia page, you know. It was full of lies and slander. No doubt this is how history remembers me, with slander I have earned.
I read that Wikipedia page too, Senora. And you know how I read it. The people are in awe of you. They call you the First Lady of the Renaissance, you know.
This only proves that Machiavelli was right. That if one cannot be loved and feared, it is best to be feared.
I think you're a little too down on yourself today, Senora. But here's what I think of Isabella d'Este.
I think you're very ambitious and very, very smart.
You're ambitious as hell. From what you told me, it sounds like being a woman in your time wasn't an easy thing. But you proved you were capable of anything, and people had to respect that. Hell, you even ran your own city. You're gutsier than any man I've ever known.
I am not sure I like this gutsy word very much, but I suppose I did well for my time.
Senora, you did well for any time, believe me.
You're incredibly smart.
You are so dang smart, Senora. I don't think people these days get an education like yours, and you took it seriously. You know about art, music, philosophy, religion.
Of course, I know much about physics, biology, and mathematics as well. Do not think me simply a woman of the arts.
See what I mean? I'm only 200-some years old, and I think it's gonna take me another 200 to know half the stuff you know. You should be proud, Senora. You know what? You come off as pretty harsh. I think we can agree on that. But you're a caring person. You want the best for the people you care about, no matter how hard it is on you. You literally gave your life to care for your family.
No one has ever called me a caring person before.
Am I wrong? Going through death for family seems like you care a lot.
A little too much, perhaps.
I ain't gonna disagree with you there. Pardon me for saying so, but I see why people were falling over themselves to paint you. You got grace and style such like I ain't never seen back home, not even at a fancy cotillion. Those ladies would probably kill to have your fashion sense.
Well, thank you for saying so, Sam. It is gratifying to know that my eye for fashion is noted. I certainly know how to wear a hat.
Well, that thing looks great on you. I doubt I could wear it half as well.
That is certainly true. You have been so kind to me. Kinder than I have been to you.
We gave her something to smile about.
You deserve kindness, and you deserve to give yourself some kindness too.
No one has ever spoken to me the way you do. I suppose I never allowed them to. Sam, I know I am old. I know I am difficult.
You're not even the oldest person we interact with, though, Isabella. Medi is a whole other mess.
But would you ever consider a woman such as I?
Oh. Uh-oh.
Senora, I'm here to help you on your personal journey. Let's not complicate that.
We're not allowed.
Of course. I am just being foolish. I am so used to people being afraid of me that, of course, I fall for the first person who is not.
Senora, I think if you can learn to give people a little room, they're gonna adore you.
What if they see me as weak if I am gentle? What if my bearing was the thing that earned me respect? I do not wish to be discarded and ignored like so many women of my time.
I'm not saying you gotta be meek, Senora. I reckon that ain't in your nature. I'm just saying to start with compassion. People are doing their best out there, and they deserve your understanding when they ain't perfect.
I guess Andy, was right, and he wasn't just teasing us every time he reminded us after a session with her that we cannot have relations with her.
Same goes for you. Don't go ripping up your art because it ain't perfect. Nobody's expecting that from you or anyone, not even Da Vinci.
Yes, I suppose I must resign to the truth. I am powerless before inevitable imperfection. I suppose the Calvinists were right.
Now don't go running in the opposite direction, Senora. That ambition comes from you. Not everyone's got it. So, keep striving to be better. Just give yourself a little compassion when you don't meet those super high standards you got. And there ain't nothing wrong with holding other people to a high standard neither. We ain't gonna be gods, but it's good to have ideals.
I believe you are wiser than I, Sam Walls. It is most humbling.
A slow horse who can still get his carrots is quicker than the ones who run past him.
And then you say something like that, and I am no longer quite so humbled.
Don't be humbled by me, Senora. I'm a simple man, just a more honest one these days. Look, let's remember what brought you in here in the first place. You saw that Space Wars movie and all its problems, right? I want to give you a challenge. I want you to find a piece of art to like. Anything. A painting, some music, a movie, heck, even a video game. And you enjoy that thing for what it is, not hate it for what it isn't.
Video games are not art.
Do you know that, Senora? I bet there's lots of video games with redeeming value. One of my clients plays a whole bunch of them.
I do not think they are for me.
Well, fair enough. Just find something, and we can talk about it next time. You can use the internet. I hear it's full of lists of things people like.
Very well. I will do this then. Sam, thank you for being so kind to me.
Well, I'll thank you to join me in being kind to you, okay, Senora? I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yes. Well then. Goodbye, Sam. Until we meet again.
Adios, Senora.
Well, well. A confession of love from the First Lady of the Renaissance.
Oh, shucks, she ain't in love with me.
I know, I am teasing. But I am impressed, Samuel. You warmed her dead heart.
It was touch and go there for a bit. I thought she really was gonna rip my head off.
But you were not afraid, as she said. They make strong men in the American West.
Tough living will do that to you, sure enough.
Then let us relax. I hear you were dancing the other night.
Oh, nuts.
Do not be embarrassed, Samuel, but let us go downstairs. The night is still young and there's much to celebrate.
All right, Andy. I think I'm game for a little R&R.
Crimson, sweet sanguine. Tonight we are celebrating.
Well, turns out I was right that the Senora hadn't let her real anger out yet. Dear near ripped my head off tonight, but she's feeling her feelings. Seems to have accepted that she could have loved her son without controlling him. Now blames herself for pushing her husband and son away, afraid of being forgotten or just remembered as a mean lady. Poor Senora. I think tonight was good, but hard for her. From here on in, we gotta start focusing on what brings her and her alone satisfaction.
I am pouring us all some shots. Verona Virgin 1492. A taste of a different time.
You know I don't like drinking anything but fresh, Andy.
I know, dearest. This is a rare occasion. Samuel here was able to help a 500-year-old let go of her anger. So let us toast her age. To the Renaissance.
Ugh, that tastes like dirt.
Yuck, I think mine had a clot in it.
It's not very good, is it? Oh well. Then let us instead toast leaving the past where it belongs.
I think I've had my fill of the past tonight already.
I've got a better idea.
Is that so? Of course, my dearest. I am delighted for you to share yourself.
I'd like a little privacy. Come on, cowboy. Follow me to the kink room.
Oh, well, all right then.
Andy did say there was a possibility of this happening at some point, that we were Crimson's type.
Smile, Samuel. You have the favor of a very special woman. It has been too long since I tended my own bar. Go have fun.
Okay, Andy, you have a good night.
Hey, cowboy.
Hi, Crimson.
Look, handsome. There's a reason I wanted to get you alone. Wanted to pick your brain about something. I'm hearing about all these clients of yours being stuck for hundreds of years, and I keep thinking, what if that's me? I've been half dead for 20 years. But do I want it to be 200?
Have you talked to Andy about this?
Yeah, but he's 3,000 years old. 20 years to him is like a month. I'm getting a little jealous of your vamps, if I'm honest. They're all moving forward, but I'm stuck in the same place. I've got Andy keeping me alive, but I'm not sure I'm living. The way I see it, either I decide my time's up, or I decide to become a vampire. So I wanted to ask, what's your favorite thing about living forever?
New perspectives, I think.
I like the night. Mortals are so tied to the sun, they miss out on a whole nother world.
No, Valesco, she can't. If she stops taking Andy's blood, she will die. She has blood cancer. Like, she's beyond saving, unfortunately, by mortal medicine. So, unfortunately, I do think, like, her... that's fair, Andy. I think he could travel. I think he definitely could travel.
The night ain't so hectic. We ain't getting messages at all hours because everyone else is asleep. We got time for reading, for art, whatever we like, really. Crimson, in the end, this is your decision. You gotta decide for your own reasons.
I know. You're right, Sam. It's helpful to get a youngster's perspective, though. Now, are we gonna get to biting?
Oh, we're still doing that.
Of course we are. Get in here, cowboy.
That is something else.
Not bad, cowboy. But you don't need to bite. Just let your teeth sink in next time. If your partner is relaxed, they'll just slide right in.
Oh, well, thanks, Crimson. I'll try to remember that.
Bet you're pretty sleepy now, huh?
Well, yeah, now that you mention it.
Go get some sleep then, cowboy. And Sam, thank you. I'm glad you're around.
Where else would I be? I'm glad to be of service, ma'am. You have a fine evening.
Samuel, good evening. How is my ever-impressive protege tonight?
Looking forward to a night off, boss. I haven't heard from Eddie, so I was thinking about a nice hot bath.
An excellent idea. A little self-care goes a long way. I do have bubble bath if you would like to borrow some.
Thank you,
Andrew
Jamie.
Makos the Mighty uses bubble bath, huh? I wouldn't have guessed.
There is only one type of human who does not like bubbles.
Liars?
Well, I was going to say werewolves, but I suppose it is the bath part they dislike, not the bubbles.
Oh, well, I ain't no liar, so I'd love some bubble bath. In fact, well, tarnation, I guess the bubble bath is postponed.
Yeah, we knew he was coming.
Are you ready to handle Edmund's distortions? It sounds as though they will be intense.
Well, let me think real quick.
Fairness, catastrophizing, blaming, and emotional reasoning. These are the ones I can think of right off the top of my head. We knew this was coming. We knew it was going to happen.
I think I got it.
I suspect you have difficult work ahead tonight. I wish you the best of luck, Samuel.
Thanks, Andy. Hold on, Sammy boy, here he comes. Hey, Eddie.
I see we're still in the costume of Piero.
Do you like my costume, Sam?
That is, I believe, the traditional outfit that Piero wears.
Well, sure. Did you come right from that production you were talking about last time?
Yes. I flew right here after the performance. I had to tell you how it went.
So, how did it go?
You should have been there. You could have seen how the audience reacted. They loved me.
Hey, well, that's fantastic, Eddie. I was a little worried when I heard you coming. I wasn't expecting you tonight.
But why would you worry? You knew who I was. The great Edmund Keene. Of course the audience would love me. Oh, my dear boy. How they did laugh at the great clown Piero.
Well, that's amazing, Eddie. Gave that Grimaldi fellow a run for his money, huh?
Grimaldi would have never achieved as many laughs as I clearly earned.
You don't sound too happy about it, Eddie.
Piero is supposed to be a tragic clown, but they laughed. They just laughed and laughed and laughed.
Oh, Eddie.
They laughed at my heartbreak when my wife left me for a respectable man. They laughed when I held my dying child in my arms. They laughed as I succumbed to drink, damning God for not taking me. They laughed as I slit my own throat when 'twas no trick, for I am already dead. So you see, it was all very, very funny.
Eddie, I'm so sorry. That reaction sounds horrifying.
But isn't Piero from one of Shakespeare's, like, comedies? Like, the man wrote dramedies. That's where it came from. Hang on, I need to know I don't remember exactly where Piero's from. Come on, Google, work with me. I mean, like, the thing is like, yeah, like what Nocturnum is saying, this sounds like the sort of thing that would have absolutely been written this way, because that's just how Shakespeare was. Oh, he's not even Shakespeare. Piero is a stock character of pantomime and Commedia dell'arte, whose origins are in the late 17th century Italian troupe of players performing in Paris known as the Comédie Italienne. The name is a diminutive of Pierre via the suffix o and derives from the Italian Pedrolino. His character in contemporary popular culture, in poetry, fiction, and the visual arts, as well as works for the stage, screen, and concert halls, that of the sad clown, often pining for love of Columbine, who usually breaks his heart and leaves him for Harlequin. So, yeah, like, he's... So his origins in the 17th century. Piero is sometimes said to be a French variant of the 16th century Italian Pedrolino, but the two types have little in common but their names and social stations. Both are comic servants, but Pedrolino is a so-called first Zani, often acts with cunning and daring, an engine of the plot in the scenarios he appears. Piero, on the other hand, is a second Zani, stands on the periphery of the action. He dispenses advice and courts his master's young daughter, Columbine, bashfully. So, yeah, like, he's basically a Schadenfreude type character that we just, like, as humans are amused by.
No, but of course it wasn't. I believe this role was made for me. It was made so that people could laugh at me. So laugh, my dear boy. Laugh.
Eddie, I know you're hurting right now. I know people can be cruel, but they ain't looking to be cruel to you in particular. That's one of them cognitive distortions. Personalization. It means...
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Don't tell me a fucking thing about cognitive distortions! Do you think I don't know what they are? Do you think I do not employ each and every one, every single moment of every single day? I am a professional liar, but no lie is so carefully constructed as that of Edmund Kean. You told me to deal with reality as it is. So be it. This is Edmund Kean. A minstrel, a jester, a fool, a clown. A clown whose greatest joke is to pretend for even a moment that he is not one. But you see, my dear boy, all that is impressive about Edmund Kean is just illusion. It has always been an illusion. That is what the stage is. But it is my life as well. Go ahead and ask me, therapist. Ask me, who is Edmund Kean? Nay, do not ask. I will tell you. Edmund Kean is nothing. There is no Edmund Kean. I have never met the man, or even the boy. I have known Shylock, Richard III, Hamlet, Lear, Othello, Macbeth, Romeo, Cupid.
You played Shylock? Damn, dude.
The people loved all of those characters. Wherefore would they love Edmund? Edmund had to become a character as well. And I have played Edmund for so long that naught lies beneath. A hollow man sits before you. As other vampires have said, what is a man anyway? A miserable pile of secrets, a mountain of pretty lies.
Eddie, that ain't true, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, he's had a lot of distortions we didn't bring with us.
You're saying life's miserable, but it ain't. There's a lot to enjoy about it if we care to look.
You lie as well as I do. Life is misery. It is a series of bitter trials, and the time in between trials is only long enough to give us hope. A fool's hope. The next misery is always around the corner, and the best we can hope to do is cover it up with more lies. That is what I have done. I am a most excellent liar.
But here's the thing, Eddie. People are pretty good deep down, Eddie. You ain't giving humanity a fair shake.
You clearly never met me backstage. They used to call my dressing room the Room of Lamentation because everyone who walked in walked out crying. Would you call that good, therapist? I wouldn't.
Well, we ain't all good all the time, I suppose.
As I said, we are made of lies.
We all lie, Eddie. Deep down, we're all still scared animals who can't tell the difference between a booing audience and a lion ripping out our throats. For all the time my blood was pumping, I played a tough guy. Slaughtering Sam, they called me. I like that name. You want to know why?
Why?
Because it made me feel safe. Under that grizzled exterior, I was still just a scared little boy. But that little boy was me, Eddie.
You understand me? Though we have played different parts, the character underneath is the same, perhaps. Do you remember that I played Cupid as a boy?
That was your breakout role, right?
I learned that if I smiled and spoke sweetly, people would view me as something other than street trash. I wouldn't have to go hungry. I wouldn't have to be sold to some bloated factory owner. Edmund Keene was worthless to anyone. Another mouth to feed, another body to clothe. So I knew I had to make him disappear. I thought if I suppressed Edmund and became the character the public wanted, I would be rewarded.
Now that's a dark contract with the universe, Eddie. Maybe you thought it'd be fair for you to get rewarded for playing a character, but there weren't nobody running a cosmic payroll.
No, perhaps not. But I was a child. Such complexities were beyond my ken. I only knew that when I wore the nappy and quipped to the audience, they thought me worthy. On the contrary, the Edmund of the Rookeries was beneath contempt. A good, poor child was one who worked, or one who died. Society made that clear.
Well, we gotta move past our child brains, Eddie. Thinking things are gonna be fair might push us down paths we can't escape from.
A line from Macbeth comes to mind. It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. 'Tis so for me. But this illusion, this character of Edmund Keene, he has brought me to such unspeakable depths. Do you know why I sought to become a vampire? Why I dwelt in dark places until the curse of immortality was given to me? I became a vampire because I was afraid that my son Charles would be a more successful actor than I was. I could not let his legacy overtake mine. I had to be sure that I was the Keene that would be remembered.
Dang, Eddie. That's a lot.
Yes, I have been monstrous. I needed to be the most beloved. I needed my every demand fulfilled. I had my own pet lion. I rode my horse indoors. I flew into a rage if anyone denied me sexual gratification.
That's not a good behavior.
As an immortal, my fears have made me even more terrible. How many promising young actors I have killed because I felt they threatened my legacy. So many lives cut short because I, and I alone, know what acting must be. Indeed, the very reason I am wearing these clothes is because I could not bear the idea that Grimaldi brought something to the stage that I could not. Do you see how pathetic I am? I am battling a man who has been dead for almost 200 years. The audience was right. I am a most laughable creature. I know what they are thinking, what they have always thought. Look at the fool actor. Look how he debases himself by begging for our approval.
The important thing here is accept things as they are, compadre.
I cannot accept things as they are, my dear boy. How can I? How can I accept that I have forced everyone around me to confirm my lie of an existence? How can I accept the people I defiled to satisfy my ego? The son I was relieved to see die? The blood I have spilled to sustain my legacy?
That is a horrifying statement. He is bringing all the things I didn't bring. I don't imagine it was by choice. I think I was just planning. I think I was prepping for this to go a different way, and I...
The lie is all I have, and all I know. I have done such evil to protect it. So much is my poverty of spirit, so mighty, and yet with so many defects, in the vapor of my own glory smothered. No, my dear boy. What is done cannot be now amended. The child Edmund is buried, and this grim-visaged, wretched creature is all that remains.
Now, I wouldn't say my logic was infallible, Velasco. I would say that my logic was sound, that I was making legitimate arguments, like that I was using good reason for my logic, but clearly my logic is not infallible.
Eddie, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. You've done some truly awful stuff. And fear doesn't excuse the dastardly deeds you done. The shit you done ain't never going away.
Yes, go on, kick me, jeer, laugh at the vicious clown, tell him what a fool he is.
Don't you gaslight me. I see those candles.
You ain't gonna play pity tricks on me or yourself. You acted like a lily-livered sumbitch, Eddie. I know that, because I've done some awful shit too. Because of my fear, I hurt scores of folks. Some strangers, some near and dear. And because of my fear, I pushed all that stuff down deep where no one could see it, just like you. I was too afraid to face myself. Once I didn't have a choice but to take a good look at myself, my first thought was that I deserved to go meet the sunrise, because I'm a coward too. But there's something else we've got in common in addition to acting like yellow bellies, Eddie. You know what it is?
What is it?
We got time, Eddie. We got time to become new people. We got time to look at ourselves honestly and say, yeah, I've been a coward, but I ain't gonna be a coward any longer. So what'll it be, Eddie? You're gonna live forever. Will you do it as a coward or as a man?
I don't know how to be a man.
So you're giving up then?
No, I cannot maintain the facade any longer. I am revealed to myself. But Sam, I never learned to be a person. I stopped being real at 8 years old. Splot! Why did my fellow actors coddle me so? Why did they let me become a monster? They could have said no, but they did not.
Eddie, you gotta own your choices. Yeah, maybe they could have given you more discipline, but they didn't make you do them things you did. It's time to own up. If you're really gonna stop lying to yourself, it starts right here. What's assigning blame to a bunch of dead folks gonna do for you anyway?
But it was at least in part their fault. Who lets a child make the demands I made?
We ain't focusing on the people who gave in to a kid who was too big for his britches. We're focusing on you. You did some real awful things. You killed people for criticizing you or for showing talent. You resented your son's success. These are things you gotta take in.
But how can I put such things behind me?
You don't. You've gotta accept the things you've done as part of who you are. You ain't gonna erase the last 200-some years, but maybe you can use them to make a better Edmund going forward.
How? How do I introduce myself as a demanding megalomaniac? How do I introduce myself as a man who was relieved to see his own son die? How do I introduce myself as a man who demanded the entire world get on their knees to satisfy his ego?
Well, I wouldn't exactly lead with that stuff. How about you introduce yourself as a man who's figuring himself out?
I suppose that is a possibility. At the least, it is not unexpected for me to be so disarrayed. It is known that we actors are all by nature an insecure people.
Wait. This feels like overgeneralization, but I guess it's probably personalization. Nope.
I believe Edmund is using his profession as cover for his indiscretions. Do not let him, Samuel.
Oh, he's blaming again.
At the least, it is not unexpected for me to.
No, Eddie, you're overgeneralizing. Painting all actors with a broad brush so it makes you look better. You're blaming your profession, and that's a damn cop-out. Yeah, there are some real fatty arbuckles out there, actors who carve a path of destruction. But there are plenty of stage folk out there who lead humble lives, loving their craft without hurting other people. So I'll thank you not to hide behind bad actors.
Bad actors? Now that is funny. Perhaps I need to find an identity beyond the stage. It protected me in my youth, but I do not think that it serves me any longer.
That might be worth exploring, Eddie.
But what if I am nothing without the stage? What if I seek other endeavors, but there are none for me?
I knew he was gonna catastrophize.
You're doing some Nosferatu thinking, Eddie. I've been roaming this earth around the same time as you, and what I picked up is there ain't no extremes. It ain't all or nothing. I guarantee you there's more possibilities out there for you between the grave and the stage. I mean, how long have you even looked for anything beyond the stage?
Not at all, I suppose.
Then let's hold judgment in reserve, huh?
The theater is all I know. It has been my protector all this time. Without it, I am helpless as a swaddling babe.
Eddie, come on. The stage is the thing you know, but you ain't helpless without it. I mean, maybe you're forgetting the whole superhuman strength and immortality thing that comes with being a vampire. And even besides that, you've learned a thing or two from all them Shakespeare plays beyond acting, I'm sure. You ain't a helpless little boy no more, so don't pretend you're powerless to do something new.
Yes. If anything, I certainly have keen powers of self-pity, do I not?
I wasn't gonna say it. However helpless you might feel, Eddie, remember that's just how you feel right now. That's the amazing thing about being undead. We got lots of time to make a better tomorrow. My mentor, Andy, he says that at 200 years old, we're basically toddlers by vampire standards. And we both got a lot of growing up to do.
That is a heartening thought.
If we're doing life right, Eddie, we're always growing up. The trick is not to think we're done growing.
Spoken like the bard himself. As he said, all the world's a stage, and I am barely past mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. I should be of a more mature mind, shouldn't I? Surely 237 years is old enough to be out of nappies.
Well, that's a should statement. I don't have that.
We got time to grow, Eddie. Let's just be glad you're a 200-year-old baby and not a 2,000-year-old baby, huh? We'd be having a real different conversation then.
But growth to me seems nigh impossible. I have allowed my fear to guide my every sad-gutted action. My fear told me when I was threatened, which was always.
So maybe this is a good chance to recognize that your feelings don't always reflect reality. Intuition and experience are real things, but your being scared doesn't mean the world's automatically scary. You're a vampire now, Eddie. You can handle yourself and take things as they are, not what your gut's telling you they are.
You speak truly. I projected my fear into existence. Oft did I bring lies to life. It has not helped me.
This is what I mean, Eddie. You're always in defensive mode, ready for someone to take you down. That ain't no way to live. When you're afraid of some young actor coming up and making a name for themselves, what's so scary about that anyway?
I'm afraid they will erase me. I will be just another child of the Rookeries, used and discarded, of no value to anyone. No history, no legacy, no record of my existence.
Well, that's catastrophizing.
But Eddie, there's loads of actors out there, all with different kinds of strengths. There's legends from every era. I'm a Buster Keaton fan myself. That fella was one of a kind, just like you were. When he was doing crazy stunts on trains, he weren't no threat to Hamlet.
He was very talented. I wanted to kill him, but I never liked visiting America.
Well, at least American actors are safe so long as they stay within the borders of the U.S.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. But you see that his success didn't do anything to yours. Not every threat means your doom.
Perhaps my time has passed anyway. There was a time when the stage awaited Edmund Kean, but my death was the end of that time.
I do not believe the stage waits for anyone, Samuel.
Perhaps my time...
Okay, we got some real work to do still. Here's the thing, Eddie. The stage wasn't waiting for you. Theater wasn't waiting for Edmund Kean to show up, and it wasn't waiting for you to die. You're used to making things about you, but the glorious, wonderful truth is, they ain't. And I got some real good news for you, hombre. You're dead. The pressure's off. All them fears are keeping you locked in time, and you can stay there as long as you like, or you can make some progress. What's it gonna be?
I am too much of a coward to die, so I suppose I must live.
I'm glad to hear that.
I believe I should go away somewhere cold and dark, where I might be alone with my thoughts.
I think that's a great idea. I did the same thing, and it changed my life. Oh, well, my unlife.
I suppose all's well that ends well. I only hope it does.
I got faith in you. As long as we're putting one foot in front of the other, that's progress.
I shall see you in a month then.
You got it, Eddie. Take care of yourself. We'll get you out of that mewling and puking stage before you know it, okay?
So it shall be. Very well. Exit Edmund Keene. Stage left.
Bravo, Samuel. I was taking notes. It seems the student has become the master.
Only a master of fumbling around. I knew I was taking a risk there.
You were, but perhaps such risks are justified with such an extreme personality. He attempted to gaslight you, but you held fast and challenged him, sternly but fairly. You have a gentle nature. That must have been difficult.
I didn't want to drive him off the edge. I just saw him close to making a breakthrough, and I didn't want him to start sinking again.
Well, you can now count yourself among a very small number of therapists who have made a breakthrough with such a one. I do not count myself among them.
And you let me handle Edmund?
I had faith in you, Samuel. You affirmed it magnificently. Now, please, go downstairs and find a friendly neck. You deserve it.
A drink sounds mighty nice right about now. You have a good night, Andy.
Rest in peace, my dear friend.
We haven't seen Panoptabella since she told us we were being insensitive.
Dang, I'm a little shaken up after that one.
That was a rough one. Eddie showed up in his clown suit. Turned out everyone just laughed at him, and that triggered something in him. He admits he's been playing a character his whole life. Eddie's done some horrible stuff to protect his own reality bubble. Believes he hasn't really progressed emotionally since he was 8 years old. Has been afraid of being himself ever since he was a kid, probably from living on the streets. Eddie's got a lot of work to do, but like I told him, he's got time to do it. It's gonna be real hard, though.
Never seen a man as afraid as Edmund Keene. That was tough to watch. I'm sure Crimson can lift my mood. Howdy, Crimson.
What's the matter, cowboy? You look a little paler than usual.
Oh, just had a real tough session. Watched a man who'd been wearing a mask for 200 years finally take it off, and it weren't pretty. Had to happen, though. The fella's got a long road ahead of him, but at least he's taking his first steps.
Think this'll do the trick then? I call this a bloody cowboy martini. Shaken, not stirred. I'm proud of you, Sam. Starting over is hard, especially when you've been spinning your wheels for a long time.
Well, that's the nice thing about being a vampire. We got time to start over.
Cheers to that.
To rebirth.
It seems you walk ever in the path of the Lord, my son.
Oh, hello, Kyron. I kind of forgot about you. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, Kieran.
Kieran.
I did not mean to intrude. I noted your discomfort and wish to offer you succor in the kink room.
You mind, Crimson?
Not at all. Go drink your fill, cowboy.
Come, my son. Now then, I heard you speak of rebirth.
Yeah, it's something we vampires have to do a lot of. I was just worried about one of my clients having trouble with their rebirth.
I know it is painful, my son. When we are born again, we leave a part of ourselves behind. Like the lizard who sloughs its dead skin, or the mortal who journeys into the mosh pit, we emerge purer than before.
Sounds like you've got a lot of perspective on this stuff, Kieran.
I know you must have questions, my son. Please, ask.
Can we truly start over?
From your spiritual perspective, can we ever truly start over?
My son, you know the answer already. We beings of flesh and blood are also beings of judgment. However, we do not stand in judgment of mortals, but of ourselves. If you believe you have defeated your demons, then you have.
Yeah, that's true. Reminds me a lot of should statements. And defeating demons is pretty badass, ain't it?
Yes, it is the demons who should fear us, my son. Did you have more questions?
Do we reject ourselves if we're reborn?
Ain't being reborn just rejecting who we were? I wasn't a good guy, Kieran, but I don't want to erase my dark days.
My son, only in Christ do we truly receive absolution and become beings of pure light. Our darkness defines us. We cannot reject it, just as we cannot reject the Almighty. It is part of us. But do not be shamed by it, my son. Your darkness is beautiful and unique, as is your journey through the darkness.
Kinda sounds like disqualifying the positive to me.
Actually, it's liner notes from a metal album I'm fond of. Did you have more questions to ask?
When?
From your spiritual perspective, how do we know when it's time for a rebirth?
An hour, a week, a year, a millennium. The answer, my son, is when we are ready. Only the Lord decides when that is. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away, and all is according to his will.
Well, that sounds like a control fallacy, though. We can't let someone else make our decisions for us.
My son, all your trials, the world you live in, they are all his work. He leads you to the truth. When he has prepared you fully, you will accept it, and join him along with the dearly departed gods of metal. Did you have more questions for me, my son?
Why ain't your lord the fire and brimstone type that's marked my kind for centuries?
The Lord did not do these things. That is the work of man. Even they work through him and face their own dark journeys. But eventually, we will all be blessed and return to his bosom to rock for all eternity. It is not for man to judge.
Well, I've got a lady who would love to meet you. I think a few men of the cloth did her dirty.
Men will ever seek power. But I know some simply seek blood. Are you ready to receive succor, my son?
Yeah, but I really wish you'd stop calling it that.
Does the demon Mammon drive your fangs, my son? Do not let your hunger make you into a demon as well.
I ain't no mammon. Hold on, let me try again. Whoops.
Oh.
My veins are here, my son.
I know, it's just dark in here.
I wish to meet my metal gods, my son. But
So
not
sorry.
yet.
Dang, sorry about that. I'll try to be more careful.
There we go.
That is enlightening.
I'm so bad at the minigame.
There. May you be sustained and fulfilled. May you shepherd your lost sheep, as I shepherd the children of the night.
You're a one-of-a-kind dude, Kieran. But thanks for the drink and the talk. You have a fine night.
I don't know, Velasco. I don't know that I've ever fucked up more than 3 times.
Godspeed, my son.
Good evening, Samuel. You are seeing your ancient client tonight, are you not?
Yeah, that's right. I hope she's doing okay. I'm worried about her and that whole algorithm thing.
I had a little consultation with some other elder vampires. We have developed a theory, though I hope we are wrong. We believe the algorithm is a demon, known to few, named Raziel. Even I have only ever heard whispers of his name. In mythology, he is a fallen angel, believed to have recorded every action, every change of state for all things on this earth into a great book. This book of knowledge he shared with the first mortals. But mortals were not designed to process so much information at once. They made judgments and reinforced behavior based on information they could not understand. Raziel watched as the mortals inevitably used the book to suppress free will, and he was cast down for his terrible mistake. We believe that Raziel has returned. Perhaps he believes that with computers, he can attempt to pass infinite knowledge to humanity once more. Terrible things will happen if this comes to pass. I would urge great caution, Samuel. Find out what you can about this algorithm. We may have dark work to do.
What the hell? Fallen angels? Ancient books of knowledge? What the heck have I walked into? We don't have this kind of shit in America.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you do.
I am old enough to be mythological myself, Samuel. Myth often contains truth. The important question is how much. We do not know what effect he may have had on Medi. But do not worry. Show her the same compassion you show all your clients, and that will open any doors that can open.
All right, I better prepare for this one. It sounds like it might be a doozy.
Alrighty. She's always got so much going on. She does a lot of she's always right, because it goes along with her overgeneralization. She's got a lot of should statements. I'm leaning towards mind reading. And blaming, but also like labeling and disqualifying the positive. Like, she's got so much going on. Alright, this is what I'm leaning towards for this session. Should, mind reading, disqualifying, and labeling. And we shall see what she does.
Greetings, little mouse.
Howdy, Mitty. It's good to see you. How you feeling tonight?
Not well, sweetling. Not well at all.
Oh no, what's going on? I know you were feeling all stressed about your numbers on that glitch site.
They doxed me. Do you know what doxing is, my whiskery friend? It's when mortals find out where you live, where you sleep, so they can hurt you. A group of vampire hunters came looking for me. They were really mean, but they're all dead now, much happier. But it was very inconvenient. Now I have to move, and it is very difficult to set up my lighting to make me look alive.
Dang, Mitty, I'm so sorry. That sounds awful.
It's worse. I will not be able to use my computer for a week. How am I going to upload my content? My fans and zealots are all so impatient. They're sure to leave me if I don't provide them with their content.
So, how many of these followers and zealots have you got, Mitty?
Perhaps 2 million zealots and 90 million followers on Glitch.
And how many of them do you think you'll actually lose if you don't upload lots of content?
The algorithm has already told me that I will lose millions of followers.
So let's go ahead and listen to the algorithm. If you lose millions of followers, it ain't anywhere near 90 million. It's doing a bit of overgeneralization and catastrophizing to think they're all gonna leave you high and dry. Heck, maybe the folks who stay are the ones what you can really count on.
What you can really count on what?
Poor Medi. That was a hard statement to hear.
What?
What?
Oh. What?
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 This has already been reported as a glitch. He's working on it.
Oh, never mind.
You said what?
I was trying to say that the people who don't mind you not uploading so much might be better folk to keep around.
It's not up to me, little mice. It's not up to them either. Even the little bloodbags who love me won't get to see me if I don't provide them content.
I don't get it. Why wouldn't they see it? Is the mailman or whatever not delivering your messages?
You're very funny. No, the algorithm decides who sees my content. If I give it content, it will make people like me more. If I stop feeding it, it shuns me.
She's not wrong.
Mitty, I gotta say, that doesn't sound like a healthy relationship.
Oh, no, it's my friend, I should think. As long as I keep producing content for it, it draws the juicy mortals to me.
How many mortals do you need, though, really?
Well, if I'm to feel safe, I should like to have more of them always. I gain more followers and zealots every month. I need them. One of them has agreed to let me eat him, and I'll take over his flat. They're quite useful.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you actually like any of these followers or zealots? Or are they all just food or servants?
What a silly question, little mouse. Of course I don't like them. I always know what they're like. You forget how old I really am.
Medi again believes she knows the entire internet, but can this really be possible?
To be fair, I really did feel like mind reading could be there, but no, it's overgeneralization.
Oh, now I gotta challenge you on that, miss. I know you got a lot of followers and zealots or whatever they're called, but that don't mean you know all of them. Now, I'm sure you know a lot about mortals on them websites you're using, but that ain't all mortals, and all mortals ain't them.
It's not just them, though. I told you about how they killed me. About how they plucked my eye out. Pop!
I'm saying, can you know that you're always right about mortals?
Wouldn't like to prove that I am.
But these mortals, you're talking to them every day. You got all these folks at your beck and call. They're the people you talk to.
That's right.
But you don't have a real relationship with any of them?
Why would I want to have a relationship with my food? You really are quite a silly whiskers.
Mitty, I'm saying the only relationships you've got are with what you're calling your food.
But that's what they are. They're food. Delicious, delicious food. Food that sometimes does heavy lifting and computer work, but still, food.
These are some reductive descriptions Medi has for her followers. No wonder she respects them so little.
But that's what they are.
With that kind of labeling, that's all they're gonna be. You're creating a prophecy for them to fulfill.
Isn't that the point? I do want them to enjoy being eaten. I don't like cruelty to animals.
I'm trying to say, they can provide more than food, just like an animal. Yeah, they might nip at you, but they usually only do that when they're scared.
Maybe you're right. Well, the vampire hunters certainly were very afraid when I pulled their intestines out. But it's just intestines. They're not very scary.
Maddie, it sounds like you're in a bit of a codependent relationship with your food, and maybe with this algorithm fella.
Oh, but it's not a fellow. And it's not a lady either.
So it's non-binary?
No, it claims that it is entirely binary. All ones and zeros. Does speak very strangely sometimes.
Well, whatever they are, it seems like as soon as they showed up, you stopped having any real friends.
I wouldn't have time for friends anyway. The algorithm says that I should always provide content to my community, and that takes all night.
Medi is letting Raziel
It was
tell her
should
what to
over
do,
here.
But Raziel has been wrong before. Have a care, Samuel.
I don't know why I saw that.
So why do you think the algorithm has that should?
It just knows. It knows everything.
Well, let's say that it does know everything. Why does that mean that we should let it tell us what to do? Can it know everything and still make mistakes?
That I do not know.
That's what I'm trying to say. But here's the thing, this algorithm, it might have all the information, but that doesn't mean it's got all the answers.
You don't know it like I do. Do you know what I really like about the algorithm, Little Mouse? Unlike the ancient gods the old clans used to worship, or the Abrahamic gods that came after, it treats us equally. If we provide content, we will be rewarded.
That's a fairness fallacy.
Let's talk about these rewards. You say it rewards you with more mortal souls, right?
Highly engaged mortal souls, ready to serve me, should I need them.
But you said you had souls already back in the pre-social media days, right? And you didn't need 90 million of them.
That's true, but it does make me feel quite special when the number goes up.
Is that number going up good for you, though? Not just the stress of managing all them folks, but drawing the attention of vampire hunters. Would you be doing any of this stuff if the algorithm wasn't demanding it?
Did ask me to play a game that I did not like very much the other night, and I pretended to enjoy it. It's called Call of Nationalism. It's all about men who are proud to be angry, which I find very upsetting.
See, that's just what I'm talking about. What about what you want? Did you get to that knitting you wanted to do?
No. I had to play the terrible game about insecure man-worms. I don't know what to do. I know that I spend too much time on the internet, but I can't live the life I used to live. I would live out in the wilds again, but there are no wilds any longer. I walk the streets. City folks stare because they sense my true nature.
Many of them mortals have got a ton of things on their minds. Most likely, they ain't too concerned about whatever you are. They ain't your zealots or followers, they're just regular mortals. You can't read their minds, and you can't assume they're only thinking about you. Unless you can read minds.
You raise an excellent point for a cute little whisker face. No, I can't read their minds. Can't imagine how a mortal must think.
Oh, very silly job. Oh, politics. Oh, grim spectre of death. I must drink alcohol in order to have sex. Dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum.
Food was good. I hope you all also got lunches and whatnot, if it's time for that.
Well, you ain't too far off.
The experiences I've had with mortals have not been happy ones. My pink-nosed, scrabbly-clawed, long-tailed friend.
Well, these mouse descriptions are getting kind of long.
You just don't understand what a mouse you are. It's the mortal's fault I must lock myself away in my flat. It's the mortal's fault that I have to use the internet to survive.
Medi has had some part to play in the life she leads, whether she recognizes it or not.
It's the mortal's fault I must lock myself away in my flat. It's the mortal's fault that I have to use the internet to survive.
Medi has had some part to play in the life she leads, whether she recognizes it or not.
It's the mortal's fault I must lock myself away in my flat. It's the mortal's fault that I have to use the internet to survive.
I don't have blame?
Medi has had some part to play in the life.
It's the mortal's fault.
Let's be straight shooters here, miss. At least some of the responsibility for being holed up in that flat with nothing but a computer is yours. I ain't saying that mortals didn't have their part in taking away your home in the wilderness, but they didn't force you to lock yourself away. That's a should you made up.
You can be a very mean little mouse sometimes. Mice are supposed to be kind and sweet.
I ain't trying to be mean, miss. I'm just saying you're leaving out your own contribution to the problem. I'm not saying it's all your fault.
Would you be very fond of mortals who did this to you?
Well, no, I wouldn't. And I didn't say you should. But you gotta admit, you're giving a lot of time and energy to people you don't like. You're resenting them, and I can't blame you.
Of course I resent them. They're all quite awful. Any one of them would hurt me if given the chance.
Maybe I gotta say, that's some Nosferatu thinking. You've been around a lot longer than me, long enough to know there's almost nothing that's all good or all bad. I know we both spend a lot of time in nature, and nature has a good way of disavowing us of our more extreme beliefs and overgeneralizations.
I suppose that's true. I once saw a wolf and a deer having a romantic relationship. Well, at least there was quite a lot of licking involved.
Oh, I didn't see nothing like that, but maybe I would have if I'd stayed in the wilderness longer. Let me ask you a question. If you're thinking all these followers of yours are a certain way, what if you're right?
Very frustrating, silly whiskers. You keep telling me that I'm doing cognitive distortions, and then you say they're correct.
Well, I'm just wondering about these mortals the algorithm sends your way. What does it say about you that makes them check you out in the first place?
Well, I suppose it shows them that I'm pretty, and that I play video games they like. And they might get to see my body parts.
Do they know that you're clever and funny? Do they know that you've got more life experience than they could ever reckon?
There's no time to talk about that kind of thing, silly. They scroll past streamers very quickly. I have less than a second to make an impression. That's what the algorithm tells me.
So you got all these millions of mortals following you because you're easy on the eyes and like some of the same video games they like?
More like easy on the eye.
The eye jokes are never going to stop.
Okay, I get it. But the point is, if the algorithm is sending mortals your way based on good looks and some video games, you ain't getting people who like you for you. You're getting mortals who want content, not medi. Frankly, it ain't no surprise that you don't have much respect for them.
You're very sweet, little mouse. But the algorithm knows what mortals want, and it's not me. They want my body and my video games. I don't have anything else they want.
Mighty far as I can tell, the algorithm doesn't know anything worth a damn if it thinks mortals all want the same thing.
Hi, Bull. Yeah, sorry. Didn't have a chance to warn you that this particular client has some eye violence in her past, and has made it a joke in her life. Or unlife.
Worse, it's making you say things like, I don't have anything folks want.
Oh, also, Bull, she's a streamer, so this is going to cut us open and flay us wide. Because especially, like, they're talking about the algorithm and everything.
You're disqualifying the positive things about yourself they're all missing out on. Pardon my saying so, miss, but you are weird as heck. You don't sound like anyone I've ever met. You think of things in ways no one else does. Mitty, you're as interesting as it gets.
Yeah, we did. I don't remember if it was Nocturnum or Jackness who mentioned the heterochromia, but because I mentioned during the second session when she told us about her eye and showed us her eye the first time, we were like, oh, well, that explains the heterochromia.
Don't let this stupid algorithm reduce you to your looks and the games it tells you to play. It's insulting all that you are as a unique individual.
I understand what you're trying to say, Willy Whiskers McMouseface III, but you don't know the algorithm as I do. It doesn't insult anyone. It just collects all the information about everyone and everything, recognizes patterns, and shows me what those patterns are. What it decides is important is based on the thoughts of every human who has ever been online. It truly knows the will of mortals because it knows all mortals.
What it's doing is overgeneralizing, Mitty. How the heck can all of humanity be reduced to formulas? It can't. So what's it doing? It's shaping humanity by reinforcing what folks are already paying attention to. It's telling you to play Call of Nationalism and rely on sex appeal.
Oh, yeah, Bull, hi. Welcome to Vampire Therapist, the game about therapy. No, I think he was in an actual therapy session, Velasco. How are you doing today, Bull? But yeah, welcome to Vampire Therapist, the game about therapy. And how we all need therapy. Need therapy.
It's telling the mortals to only care about them things that are popular already. Don't explore. Don't appreciate things that are weird and unique.
Yeah, it's hard to remember sometimes when everybody, like, calls out various things, like who called out the specific things. So... Sorry I misattributed that, Nocturnum. Although I did remember you were there, and I remembered it could have been you. It just... Sometimes, like, you're all sharing the brain cell too fast, and I can't keep up. Oh no! So yeah, Bull, Vampire Therapist is... We play Sam. Sam is a cowboy vampire, and he has slowly learned, like, basically he wants to help other vampires not be monsters. So he's been learning therapy. He has 4 clients right now. Medi is our 4th client. So after this session is going to be another therapy session for ourselves, because Sam also gets therapy from an older vampire. So yeah. And, this game has made me cry. Everyone is attractive, it's true. And this game has made me cry. It's a very good game. You should absolutely play it.
If this algorithm gets what it wants, what'll happen? Earth will be the most boring place in the universe. Medi, this algorithm doesn't appreciate you, and it's teaching you not to appreciate yourself.
You're right, little mouse. I am forgetting myself. I think I don't want to feel lonely anymore. I want to be liked.
You ain't gonna be happy if you're being liked for being some boring idea of what someone else thinks you should be.
I really have been very silly, haven't I? The algorithm isn't nice at all, I think.
I'm glad you're getting that this algorithm is abusing you. I don't want to see it change what makes you special.
But I won't have anyone. I'll be alone.
Ooh. What do we think she's gonna respond better to? Reassurance or challenging? Or being challenged? Alright. Chat says challenge.
You were alone already, Medi. These relationships you've got online with all these faceless mortals, they ain't real. Those friends you had a few years ago, they sounded real.
I suppose I could send them all an email. Do you think they'll remember me?
There was something about you all that made you join that web ring or whatever it was called. I don't know, but I bet they'd be happy to hear from you.
I think I will send them a message. They were all very strange, like me.
We're all strange, Medi. We're all individuals. Maybe they were just your kind of strange.
You are very sweet, little mouse. I could give you some of my zealots if you like. They'll do what I tell them to do.
Well, that's okay. I'm happy letting them live their lives freely. They deserve to find out what they actually like, too.
You are very soft and squishy for a vampire. But I will message my old friends.
And if you're gonna do this streaming thing, try streaming things you honestly enjoy. Make a new account, be yourself, and see who shows up.
I think I will do that. I'll keep my only zealots, though. They can be very useful.
You do what's best for you. And don't let anyone but you make that decision.
Yeah, that's safe. That's a safe assumption as well, Jackness. Yeah.
You are so very sweet. Are you sure I can't take you home and let you run on a wheel all night?
I'm pretty sure. I'll see you next month then, right? I want to hear all about how you're handling your weird self.
Oh, but you are a very, very naughty mouse with a very dirty mouse mind.
I didn't mean it like that.
You are very funny. I will see you in a month then. Now, I shall become a mouse too, but with wings.
Excellent work, Samuel. We cannot know for sure, but I believe Medi understands the source of her discomfort.
I love Medi. It's hard to choose, but she might be my favorite of the 4 patients.
You think this Raziel is gonna get upset at losing her?
If I understand correctly, Raziel has no power if he is ignored, but he is unusually tempting to listen to. It sounds as though he has the mortals quite beguiled, and many of our kin as well. But you give me faith that he can be defeated, one individual at a time if need be.
I ain't never defeated a dark god before.
There is a first time for everything, my dear Samuel. After all, haven't you been dancing?
You really gotta bring that up, huh?
Mostly for the reaction. Now, my friend, make sure you get something to drink. You shall not have trouble finding willing necks, I'm sure. You are becoming quite the celebrity at Immernacht.
Beating fallen angels is thirsty work. I'm ready for a drink.
Slake your thirst then, my friend. Rest in peace.
Is it time to see Panoptibella? I think it's been a month since we've seen her.
funny to think vampires being born now are growing up with the internet. We're gonna have to reckon with that someday.
I think we had a breakthrough today. Seems Medi's overgeneralization and the algorithm's overgeneralizations were a deadly combination. Medi's assumptions about mortals were being confirmed by the algorithm, not reality. She was letting the algorithm determine what value humanity saw in her. She realizes that the algorithm was making her into a boring person. I think Medi gets what the internet's been doing to her. She's going to get in touch with some old friends, and I think that's a great idea.
I hope Medi's realized that being herself is the best person she can be. Well, speaking of which, I should go check on Crimson. Hey, Crimson, what's on tap tonight?
Take a look around, cowboy. There's plenty to drink.
Well, maybe I'll go looking for a donor. Just figured I'd say howdy to my pal Crimson first.
Well, howdy, sharpshooter. You look like you're in a good mood tonight.
Yeah, I guess I am. You know that ancient client I told you about? I think she's finally realizing that some people are gonna appreciate her for being who she is. Maybe she ain't gonna have 100 million fans, but the people who genuinely like her will be there for her.
How's your blood sugar, honey? I think you're a little too sweet.
Oh, come on now.
I've been thinking a lot about exactly what you're saying. Folks in DC didn't much like my style, but I'm not sure why I cared.
Don't beat yourself up over it. I think we all do the same thing. Easier to do what other folk are doing than blaze a trail, right?
I'm not sure it is easier if we're fighting ourselves the whole time.
That's some real wisdom right there.
Anyway, thanks for making me think. I think I'm done spinning my wheels.
Excuse me. I wish to speak with you, vampire, in the kink room.
It is time to see her. I love her.
I think my dinner's calling. I'll see you later, Crimson.
Ciao, Tex.
You know, I have seen what you are doing. I see all.
So you mentioned Panoptabella, and what am I doing?
I see that you change people. You make them stronger, more confident, more comfortable.
I'm pretty sure they're doing all that themselves.
No, that is not what I see. I see that without you, they repeat their actions over and over again. Usually, I can see the future because people repeat themselves. But you make the future uncertain. I do not like what I cannot see.
Well, why do you need to see everything anyway, Panoptabella? Ain't it exhausting?
To see all is to see danger and avoid it. I see that you wish to say something, but are holding back.
Well, I try to do my therapy stuff just in therapy. It ain't right to be analyzing folk without their consent.
Then consent is given. To see all is to see danger and avoid it.
Well, see, what that is a control fallacy. It's a kind of cognitive distortion. The future's always got elements we can't count on. You can be prepared to a certain extent, but you ain't ever gonna know everything. You can only see what's in front of you, after all.
Interesting. Then what do you believe I should do?
Well, just that. See what's in front of you. See how you feel about right now, not yesterday or tomorrow. Right now, you can see.
I see. Yes, I see that. I would like you to drink from my neck right now.
See, that wasn't so hard.
I see more clearly, vampire. I thank you.
And I thank you for the blood.
I hope your torpor is most satisfying. I shall see myself out.
Oh, yeah. Good night, Panoptabella.
Wasn't that the same joke we made that she told us was offensive?
I think that was a pretty successful night. Coffin time for old Sam.
Well, if it isn't the gunslinging guru of mental health himself, good evening, Samuel.
Holy hell, my head is spinning. This month I've been threatened by monsters, drunk priest blood right from the source, faced an ancient demon, and helped my clients through some tough breakthroughs. It's gotten me pondering about what's next for me. I came here to learn, and now I feel pretty confident about being able to help my kin. Then again, that could be a control fallacy. Andy's told me so many times that I won't be able to help everyone, so maybe I should just help people that come here wanting to be helped. Guess I should talk to Andy about all this. Maybe that's the idea of growth, though, Nocturnum, is by not being upset about it anymore. She's growing. Alright, though.